evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals hearing. Before we begin, let me introduce some members of town government that act as advisors to this board. To my left is Simone Freeman. She's attorney with the town attorney's office. To her left is Matt Collado and Jeff Kanigeiser, planners with the planning department. To their left is Sabrina Butita. She's an environmental analyst with the Department of Environment and Waterways. You're here this evening seeking relief from the town zoning ordinance. New York State statute requires that any town that adopts zoning must also have a board of appeals to act as a relief valve so that persons can seek relief without the expense of legal proceedings. The most common kinds of applications before this board are area variances. Area variances deal with dimensions of lot area, frontage, height, setbacks, and parking reductions. New York State statute mandates that the board must consider the following 5 criteria when evaluating area variances. When you come to the podium, please, to present your application, please do your best to address these 5 criteria. 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created. 2, whether the applicant has other feasible alternatives. 3, whether the variance is substantial. 4, whether an adverse impact on the environment will be created. And 5, whether the alleged difficulty is self-created. This board also has the authority to grant special exceptions, also known as a special use permit or conditional use permit. This is a use that is permitted by zoning, but under specific conditions designed to ensure compatibility with the surrounding area and the overall zoning plan. If all of the general and specific requirements are met, this board must approve the application. If they are not, this board must deny the application unless they request variances. At that point, the 5 criteria shall be applied and the balancing test. What is the balancing test? The statute requires that the board balance the interests of the applicant and those of the neighborhood or community. The board shall grant the minimum variance it deems necessary and adequate, while at the same time preserving and protecting the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. The board has the power to impose reasonable conditions that relate to the variances. Regarding procedures, cases will be called in the order that they were advertised. When your case is called, please come forward, submit your affidavits and mailing receipts to Mr. Collado, and then the applicant will be given the opportunity to explain to the board why the variance is needed. Again, please address the 5 considerations. After the applicant is done speaking, all interested parties will be given one opportunity and only one opportunity to be heard. Please organize your thoughts and keep your remarks factual, related to the case, as well as the variances being sought. Then we will ask the applicant to come back to the podium to address your concerns. The board will then close the case and reserve decision. After all hearings are closed, the board will review cases and decide some of them, and others will be reviewed at a later date. There are 3 ways to find out about your case. The first is you can wait until after the public hearing, but there's no guarantee that the board will act on your case tonight. The second way is to check the website after 11 a.m. tomorrow. The third way is applicants can wait and be notified by mail. After the case is closed, no additional information or testimony can be submitted. I don't believe we have any adjournments tonight, so we're ready to go. All right, first case.
The first case on the agenda is case 19421, Long Island Cares, Inc. Location is 10 Davids Drive in Hauppauge. It's the northwest corner of Davids Drive and Adams Avenue. The property is owned light industrial. The request is a variance to permit a fence greater than 4 feet in the required front yard and to reduce the minimum front yard setback on Adams Avenue from 50 feet to 12 feet. Reduce the minimum side yard setback from 20 feet to 5 feet for existing refrigerated walk-in trailer. Reduce minimum front yard landscaped area from 80% to 58% of the lot along Davids Drive and Adams Avenue. Reduce the minimum setback of a 4-foot fence from a 6-foot retaining wall from 6 feet to 0 feet. Increase the height of a 4-foot fence on top of a 6-foot retaining wall from 4 feet to 10 feet. Reduce minimum parking from 74 to 58 spaces. Reduce the minimum parking setback from front property line on Adams Avenue from 50 feet to 15 feet. And reduce minimum parking setback from the west side property line from 6 feet to 2 feet.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the applicant, Brian Kennedy, I'm a partner with Forcelli Deegan Tirana, offices at 100 Motor Parkway. As Mr. Collado noted, there are quite a few variances that the applicant is seeking today, all of which relate to the expansion of a parking lot and the legalization of refrigerated trailers at the subject property. All properties surrounding the subject property are zoned light industrial. Now, Long Island Cares was founded in 1980 and was the first food bank on Long Island. In 2024, Long Island Cares distributed approximately 16 million pounds of food to over 175 Long Islanders. The subject property is the main hub for Long Island Cares. It's approximately 2.6 acres and presently improved with a 35,000 square foot warehouse, as well as those 2 refrigerated trailers that are subject to this application. Those trailers provide a huge portion of the food storage for the food that is delivered to the recipients throughout Long Island. Now, this is the main office for Long Island Cares, and much of their day-to-day operations and agency coordination take place at this site. They're open at this site from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday through Friday, and Saturday mornings as well. Now, during the week, the property gets approximately 5 tractor-trailer deliveries per day. The current layout of the parking lot it's a nightmare, honestly. It takes trucks approximately 30 minutes to navigate through. They need an expansion of that parking lot to allow tractor and trailers to get into and out of that site in a more efficient manner. There's only one access point to the site on David's Drive. Now, the expansion of the existing parking lot, like I said, is primarily for site circulation for these tractor trailers. The parking lot is too narrow for them to navigate it efficiently and safely. There's quite a few accidents with those tractor trailers. They have to have someone come out from inside of the facility to help navigate parking and access into and out of the loading docks. Now, due to the unique size of the corner lot, the applicant is requesting those variances to maintain the parking that exists in the front yard and for the reduced front yard landscaping. The front yard landscaping deficiency and the parking in the front yard are both existing, and that is as a result of their location on a corner lot. Because of the location of the warehouse on the site, the applicant would have to remove almost all of the parking found within the entrance driveway to comply with the code. That's just not feasible, and that would further exacerbate the parking deficiency at the site. Now, as for the front yard fence that's being requested, there is a 6-foot fence already located within the front yard along Adams Avenue. The proposed fence would be a continuation of that existing fence to enclose the expanded parking lot and increase safety and security at the site. The applicant is also requesting variances as a result of the new retaining wall that will be at the rear of the site. I don't know if you can pull up the site plan, but to expand the parking lot, the applicant is proposing a new retaining wall which features a 4-foot fence on top of that retaining wall. It's not a 10-foot fence as it may appear in the call of the meeting. Now, because the property needs to have enough room for the large tractor trailers that I described earlier, the fence will sit atop that retaining wall. While the 4-foot fence is permitted, it's not technically permitted on top of that retaining wall. Now, as you guys know, the subject property is located inside of the Hauppauge Innovation Park, an industrial area. This is an industrial use. This will not have a detrimental impact on the surrounding community. It fits the character of the neighborhood, and more importantly, it's an incredibly noble cause. It's not very often that we get to be on the side of very good causes like this. So with that, I have Brian Morell, the project engineer, available if you guys have questions. Otherwise, I'd welcome any questions that the board may have.
Just quickly, I drove by the site. The corner where this is taking place, there's currently some trees there,
Correct.
and they'll be obviously removed to make this happen. I was thinking personally, I'm only one vote, but that we might want to require a dense buffer in front of the, what will ultimately be the end of the property. You're already, it looks like from the site plan that you're proposing plantings, but we don't have any detail on
We
it.
are, yeah. Is there a condition you would like to put on the size of those plantings or height or
It would
something
be
like
up
that?
to, I believe this goes to Board of Site Plan Review
does.
anyway, so we would just kind of, for our sake, since we're granting variances, kind of memorialize it in a condition.
I don't think we have any objection to that.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions on the application?
No.
No? Planning?
I agree with the condition about screening and buffering the wall, so yes.
Okay. Sabrina?
No comments, nothing.
All right. Would anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank
Have
you
a
very
great
much.
night, guys.
You too.
The next case is case 19422, Terrence Mulholland. Location is 39 Ivy Hill Drive in Smithtown. It's on the northwest corner of Ivy Hill Drive and Woodland Lane. Property is zoned R21. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 43 feet for a proposed 16 by 32 foot in-ground swimming pool. Reduce minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 8 feet for existing 78 square foot shed. Reduce the front yard setback from lot line from 10 feet to 4 feet for a proposed 6-foot stockade fence on a corner lot.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Well, good. Okay. Christina Bravin, Morano Expediting, P.O. Box 39, Bethpage, New York. Okay. Requesting permission this evening to install 16-foot by 30-foot in-ground swimming pool holding a front yard setback of 43 feet instead of the required 50 feet. Reduce the front yard setback from 10 feet to 4 for a proposed 6-foot stockade fence, and reduce the front yard setback from 50 feet to 8 feet for an existing shed. The subject parcel is an irregularly shaped lot at the northwest corner of Ivy Hill Drive and Woodland Lane. The property presents several challenges due to the configuration of the existing dwelling, the depth of the lot, and the overall topography. Therefore, it is not a self-created issue. The owner is requesting a 7-foot relaxation of the front yard setback for the installation of the pool, representing a 14% relaxation of the code. We believe that this is a modest request given the size of the lot and the scope of the proposed pool. Although the owner initially hoped to situate the pool on the northerly side of the property, the location would have required extensive regrading and construction of multiple retaining walls. The contractor provided a cost estimate for that option, and due to significant site work, it would have tripled the cost of the project. The proposed location, in contrast, is relatively flat and does not require substantial retaining structures, which reduces cost and avoids project delays, prevents the need for additional ground settling time as well. The pool has been sited to remain as far from the front property line as reasonably possible, while still maintaining a safe distance from the existing deck and meeting the required rear yard setback. The proposed 6-foot fencing will replace the existing fence in the exact same location. The property sits at a higher elevation than the roadway, and the fencing is set back sufficiently from both intersecting streets to avoid any obstruction of sight line for vehicles entering or exiting either roadway. Although the fencing will be 4 feet from the property line, it's important to note that there is a 10-foot right-of-way. As a result, the actual setback from the edge of the pavement is approximately 14 feet to the fence. And regarding the shed, it's a small vinyl Rubbermaid shed under 100 square feet. Homeowner purchased it himself from Home Depot and was under the impression that it did not require a permit being so small. This portion of the yard is where the family maintains their garden and receives the most sunlight, which is ideal. for them to maintain the garden. The shed is used exclusively for the gardening and lawn tools, making its placement practical and consistent with the intended use. Additionally, this 50-foot portion of the yard is the most level area of the property, making it a suitable location for both the shed and the pool. We do not believe the requested variances will have any negative impact on the neighboring parcels, as all required setbacks from adjoining homes are being maintained. And given the unique challenges of the lot, we do not feel this is a substantial request. The location minimizes environmental impacts, as it is level, mostly clear, and does not require any extensive regrading, and believe the hardships stem from the original development of the property, including the configuration of the dwelling and the natural topography. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
Find out. Anyone on the board have any questions?
No, thank you.
No, thank.
No? Planning?
My one comment is, there is an 11-foot side yard setback on this property, so the pool's showing 10, so just be aware. There's no request for the 10 feet, so just be aware it'll have to be set back 11 feet from that side yard.
Yes, we'll maintain the 11 feet.
So you understand that the request is to, since they're not asking, we have to go to 11, not 10?
It's currently, hold on, let me just double check. The request is for 10 for the front yard. Where are you saying there's 11 feet?
So for the, so the front yard, 10 feet for the stockade fence, you're going from 10 to 4, that's your request. But the side yard setback for the pool needs to be 11.
Oh, we need to give you an additional foot. I understand. Apologies, I
Right.
was
Mhm.
confusing the two.
Just because it's on the survey, I didn't want it to
Okay.
confuse anyone.
Are you okay with that?
It's okay?
Just asking my client, yeah.
We-
The 11
We
feet.
just, we can't approve it to 10 and because.
Understood. We
Okay,
need the 11 feet.
Correct.
Understood.
Thank you. Sabrina?
No, thank you.
All right. Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, case closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case is case 19423, Michael Falco. The location is 15 Acorn Road in St. James. It's on the southwest corner of Acorn Road and Piper Court. The property is owned R43. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 60 feet to 8 feet for an existing 150 square foot treehouse, 26 feet for an existing 262 square foot pavilion, and 50 for an existing 25 square foot outdoor pizza kitchen. And to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 24 feet to 8 feet for an existing 144 square foot shed.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Michael Falco. I'm the owner of 15 Acorn Road, St. James, and just a little something about the property. So my property is a corner lot, but the side street, Piper Court, runs behind my property, so I effectively have no rear yard. So what I'm asking to maintain the existing structure is because they encroach on the front yard setback, which is really my rear yard. I've done some extensive landscaping and whatnot to put on that Piper Court, green giants right now to kind of create a buffer because it is my rear yard. So basically, I'm asking for allowance to have these structures, because of the situation that my property is, I don't really have effectively a rear yard. So I also submitted, I had all my surrounding neighbors who, the structures that I'm asking, have sent me emails, I'm friendly with everybody, and I bought this house, it was in ruins, and, did extensive renovating to beautify it, and everybody's kind of okay with everything that I did over there, so that's basically what my situation is over there.
All right. Yeah, I noticed you did get quite a few letters. It looks like half the people on that end of town sent a letter in for you.
Yeah.
Anyone on the board have any questions?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning.
I didn't get a chance to go out to the site, but I noticed on Google Street View, which is about like a year ago, there was like a shipping container.
No, that's
That-
not, that
that's-
was when I moved in, I was
Okay, so it's
renovating,
gone?
that's gone.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that whole back area is cleaned up, driveway's done, I've gotten all my, that garage or barn, whatever, that was a previous permit, that's all
Right.
been CO'd and.
Thank you.
Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Would anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Okay, come on up.
Mike's neighbor.
Okay, you want to just grab the mic?
Sorry.
We need your name and address and spell your last name. please.
Mark Fenrich, Fenrich, address 9 Piper Court, St. James, New York. I'm Mike's neighbor. When he's made the house absolutely beautiful. I live right across from him. Everything is beautiful. I have no objections whatsoever to his designs. So.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, case closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case is case 19424, Lawrence and Sarah Horner. The location is 40 Lincoln Avenue in Nesconset. It's on the south side of Lincoln Avenue, 80 feet west of Sun Hill Road. The property is owned R15. The request is a variance to permit a fence greater than 4 feet in the required front yard for an existing 4-foot PVC vinyl fence on top of a block retaining wall. Reduce the minimum setback of a 5-foot retaining wall from the property line from 5 feet to 0 for an existing block retaining wall. Reduce the minimum setback of a 6-foot fence from a 5-foot retaining wall from 5 feet to 0 feet. Increase the height of a 6-foot fence on top of a 5-foot retaining wall from 6 feet to 11 feet. Increase the max permitted paved surface in the front yard from 25% to 40% for an existing asphalt driveway.
Good evening.
How you doing? It's Michael Lorado, Captain Permit, 535 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, New York, 11747.
Spell your last name?
It's ARATO.
Do you have the affidavit of mailing?
Yeah, he should have had that.
Unless is it in here? That looks like it.
Here you go.
This is the notice.
And for the record, we do have a power of attorney, correct?
It says acceptable
Okay.
POA. And then you also submitted, is this just the work from your contractor?
Yeah, so what it was an agreement when they put the retaining wall up between the neighbors and him.
Okay. You want to take a look at this? Don't need this.
You
Ready?
can go ahead.
All right. So we're here today seeking multiple reliefs from the board. First is to permit a fencing in the front yard that exceeds the allowable 4 feet in height. The fencing and the wall in question is a 4-foot fence on top of a retaining wall. So the fence is 4 feet in height, but due to the grade and the height of the retaining wall, it puts the fence over 4 feet. There was a previous timber wood retaining wall there, but back in November of 2024, the owner had it replaced because it was failing. So the owner and the neighboring property, who's at 38 Mayfair Road, agreed to have this wall done. And they actually asked for the wall to be done because of the conditions of it. You know, it was causing a problem. So that's the agreement that I had dropped off to you. So there's a pool in the backyard, so a fence is required on this property with a minimum height of 4 feet. So that's what the owner purchased for this area. While the fence does project into the front yard, it is approximately 23 feet from the street and doesn't create any visual disturbances to any of the vehicles or people that would be on that street. The driveway for the house is on the opposite side, or the opposite end of where the fence is, and the neighbor's driveway is also on the opposite side of the street, so there's no issues with cars backing up or anything with this fence being there. The second and third relief is for the 5-foot setback from the retaining wall to the fence. While this was not done intentionally, it was simply because the owner was unaware that there was a setback that was required, and he was just keeping all the fencing in alignment and conforming. The fourth relief is for the increase in height on the fence in the front yard. Again, that was not done intentionally. The owner said that he was advised by the inspector when he came to inspect for the pool that the fence needed to increase in height in this one area where it goes up to 9 feet. Because the way the retaining wall was, he said that someone could hop over the fence. So he put that other level up there, and then he put the 2 other 6-foot fences to just keep everything in line. So that wasn't something that, he had thought about doing. That was what the inspector wanted him to do. So from that area, it goes from 4 feet to 6 feet, and then to that one small section, which is at 9 feet. The last relief we are seeking is for a 15% front coverage relaxation for the paved driveway in the front yard, which exceeds the allowable 25%. So the 25% would put this at 1,136 square feet. The driveway is currently at 1,815 square feet. So it's about 679 square feet over, which brings the percentages to 40%. Looking at Suffolk County GIS, it looked like the driveway was built this way sometime between 2010 and 2013. It's been there for like the last decade without any issues. Current owner purchased this property like this in 2019. And it's really not out of character to the neighborhood. As we did some visual drive-bys, we saw that there were other driveways very similar in size, on Sun Hill and also on Mayfair Court. While these alterations to the home were self-created, we don't feel that if the board was to approve this application, it would create a negative impact on the property, the surrounding properties, or the environment. We also aren't aware of any negative opposition to this application by any of the people that were notified about it.
One concern I had, I went by and took a look at it, was that fence that's right on top of the retaining wall is pretty impacting on the neighbor.
Which one?
Actually, that picture right there.
So
You see the 4-foot fence where it goes to 11 feet?
Yeah, so,
Because it's right on that wall,
so
and the wall is basically on the property line, it doesn't really give any relief to that neighbor.
so the 9-foot high fence, right?
Correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
that 9-foot piece, that was originally just at 6.
Mhm.
That's when the inspector said that since the way the retaining wall is the height, that someone could walk on the retaining wall. So he didn't want to put that like that.
Yeah.
It's really,
Well, I get it, but, obviously the neighbor's got to live with that, which is kind of impacting that they're looking at not just the retaining wall and the fence, but they're looking at both stacked on top of each other. So, for me, I'd rather give that neighbor some relief and have you set back the fence at least a foot or two and put some plantings in there to kind of make that look a little nicer.
in front of it.
Yeah. But I'm just one person. Obviously, there's 5 people on the board, so.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions or concerns?
Moving it 1 foot, we'll be able to put some plantings in there?
Not, I don't think a foot, but, obviously I just wanted to put it out there that, it is, I went by, I don't know if anyone else took a look at it, it's pretty impacting.
I mean, if we could lower it, he would definitely love to get rid of it. So,
Yeah,
It's
I don't
just-
think the town, I don't think the inspectors will allow that.
or if we
because
cut
has
it,
to be-
like if we trim it or something, like on an angle.
Well, we'll see, obviously. I don't know that meets the code because you have to have,
Yeah, it has to be set back the height of the wall. I mean, do you need to have a 6-foot fence on top of the 5-foot wall? Because it looks like you have a 4-foot fence.
Yeah, that was that was supposedly what was told, was the inspector wanted it higher because
6
someone could
feet.
hop it. He didn't initially have it. He had to buy that extra section, so he really didn't have it initially set up like that.
I believe the code is 4 foot.
It is. He's saying that, I guess, like, because of the way the wall's set up, that it could be jumped over. I don't know, I wasn't there for it, but that's what was relayed to us.
Okay.
So if you want it back to 4, I can suggest it if that's what the board would want.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just one person, so I figured I'd put it on the record to see if there was any solutions we could come up with.
Okay.
Planning, did you have anything?
Just the same comments you did. You mentioned 38 Lincoln Avenue. Is this 38 Lincoln Avenue, the property that?
That was for, yeah, that's, I'm sorry, one second. It was for
38 Mayfair.
Mayfair.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the neighbor right there. And like I said, they haven't had any complaints with it. And they were fine with what he did.
Okay. Sabrina?
No comments.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, case closed. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
This one's gonna take a while. Case is case 19425, Anthony and Teresa DeChiara. Location is 20 Aspen Road in Kings Park, west side of Aspen Road, 95 feet north of Washington Drive. The property is owned R10. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum front yard setback on Birch Road from 40 feet to 17 feet for an existing 810 square foot detached garage. Increase the max permitted paved surface in the front yard on Birch Road from 25% to 80% for an existing driveway. Increase the max permitted paved surface in the front yard on Aspen Road from 25% to 40% for the existing driveway and walkway. Increase max height of a detached garage from 15 to 18 feet for an existing 810 square foot detached garage. Reduce the minimum required side yard setback from 12 feet to 4 feet for an existing swimming pool. Increase the max permitted square footage of a detached garage from 750 square feet to 810 square feet. To permit environmentally sensitive land due to slopes to be altered for existing detached garage, pool, deck, and fence. Reduce the front yard setback from 40 feet to 19 feet for an existing 4-foot retaining wall with a 3-foot fence on top. Reduce minimum distance from any lot line from 7 feet to 4 feet for existing retaining wall and fence. Allow a 3-foot fence to be set back 0 feet to the top of a 4-foot retaining wall. Reduce minimum south side yard from 12 feet to 4 and total side yards from 28 feet to 18 feet for existing retaining wall and fence. Reduce the minimum setback of a 7-foot retaining wall and fence from the property line from 7 feet to 4 feet. Permit environmentally sensitive land to be altered for existing retaining walls.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Name and address for the record, and just spell your last name.
My name is Anthony DiChiara, D-I-C-H-I-A-R-A. I live at 20 Aspen Road, Kings Park, New York.
If you want to speak.
My name is Teresa DiChiara, D-I-C-H-I-A-R-A. We live at 20 Aspen Road, Kings Park, New York.
Thank you. You want to tell us why you're here?
You have everything in front of you. You know what I have. I come to you for blessings.
If you could just quick, there should be a thing right in front of you on the table.
Yeah.
Just try and hit a few of those and give us some,
It doesn't impact the property, the neighborhood. It was something that was needed. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say. It was done, so.
None of the neighbors have complained about it.
None of the neighbors are complaining.
It's been there for a while, so.
all right, anyone on the board have any questions? No? Yes?
No.
No? Planning?
No, thank you.
No,
Sabrina?
thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, case closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next case is case 19426, Nicholas Voltaggio, location 6 Raven Drive in Comac. It's west side of Raven Drive, 109 feet south of Rondi Drive in Comac. The property is owned R15. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard setback from 60 feet to 56 feet for a proposed 288 square foot sunroom addition.
Good evening again. Christina Bravin, Morano Expediting, P.O. Box 39, Bethpage, New York. Okay, the property owner is proposing to construct a 16-foot by 18-foot seasonal sunroom addition at the rear of the existing dwelling. The sunroom will extend off the kitchen area and will be constructed at grade, resulting in a step-down transition from the main living space. This room will not be heated and is intended for seasonal use only. The purpose of the addition is to create a protected outdoor dining area, allowing the owners to enjoy their backyard for an extended portion of the year without exposure to elements. We are requesting a 4-foot relaxation, which represents a 9.3 variance from the required rear yard setback. The properties to the east consist of substantially deeper lots, placing the nearest neighboring residences more than 130 feet from the subject parcel. For this reason, we believe the requested variance will not result in any adverse impact on surrounding properties. Additionally, several homes along Raven Drive appear to have rear additions of similar size or with comparable setbacks, demonstrating that this type of improvement is consistent with the character of the neighborhood. A patio currently occupies the area where the sunroom is proposed. As a result, the project will not require the removal of any trees or vegetation. Therefore, no environmental impacts are anticipated. Do you have any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Find out. Anyone on the board have any questions?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No? Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
The next case is case 19427, The Gap, Inc. Location is 2050 Jericho Turnpike in Comac. It's located on the south side of West Jericho Turnpike, 269 feet east of Walter Court. The property is zoned central business. The request is a variance to increase the number of wall signs from a max of 1 sign to 2 signs, increase the max projection of a wall sign from 12 inches maximum to 24 inches for a proposed 4 square foot wall sign.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you? I'm Gina Leo, representing Capital Design and Construction on behalf of the Gap Factory Outlet Store in Comac. We're proposing a double-faced, non-illuminated blade sign. I know to code that the allowance is only 1 storefront sign. However, this is more of a wayfinding sign, which would enhance better pedestrian traffic, less, more safety issues as far as like the parking lot area. It enhances more business for the storefront owner. It's more for the strolling for people walking by, so that it's able to be seen and easier to get into the storefront at an eye level instead of like looking up higher. I don't know what else you want me to say.
This is it's a blade style sign,
Yeah, it's a 2 foot by 2 foot.
and I don't see where it doesn't really show where it's going on the building. Is it projecting off?
It's right on the,
It should be where C is.
Yeah, right here. That's not it.
yeah, it's all the way to the right.
Yep. So if you look,
It's not on the
so it's on the column.
Oh,
So
I
if
see.
you
So you
right-
don't,
Right here.
so it's
It's
going to
small.
project
Yeah.
at what height? I don't,
Uh,
Do you have an outline?
It's, 8 foot.
It's right
No,
here,
it's
but
on
it
there.
doesn't really show it. See that right there? So it's a flat sign, it's gonna come off the building. That's
Looks
why
like
you
it's
don't see
8 feet,
Mm-hmm,
Gotcha.
8 feet off.
it.
yeah.
8 feet
Yeah.
Yes,
You
to
can
the
see
bottom.
from the
8
bottom.
feet to the bottom of the sign.
So you see this column right here?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's where it'd be. 8, and this distance right here is 8 feet.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Why would you need that extra sign? You have 2 signs already.
No, there's only just the one.
You have one on the top and one here in the window, right?
I don't think that counts, it's inside.
No,
the-
it's
It's
just-
interior. It's
It's an interior sign.
Pedestrian walk sign.
Yeah.
Comes out like this.
Correct.
It's more for the business visibility, for pedestrians and drivers approaching either direction, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning?
no comments.
No,
Sabrina?
thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Thank
case
you.
closed, thank you.
The next case is case 19428, Abigail Simon. The location is 51 Ashley Circle in Comac. It's the west side of Ashley Circle, 200 feet south of Scarlet Drive. The property is zoned R6. The request is a variance to permit a patio more than 10 feet from the rear of the dwelling in R6 and to increase the setback from the dwelling from 10 feet to 12.5 feet. Reduce the minimum setback of paving from the property line from 1 foot to 0 for a proposed 12.5 by 23-foot rear yard patio.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Abigail Simon. I'm the homeowner of 51 Ashley Circle in Comac. I'm requesting a variance to permit a patio more than 10 feet from the rear of my dwelling.
A little,
Okay. I'm requesting a variance to permit a patio more than 10 feet from the rear of my dwelling and to increase the setback from the rear of my dwelling from 10 feet to 12.5 feet. This was vetted by my homeowners association, is consistent with others in my development who have gone through this process before and meets all requirements of area variances.
this is Tara, correct?
Yes.
We see them a lot. Anyone have any questions?
No.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this one? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Case closed. Thank you.
Good. The next case is case 19429, Scotsman 6. Location is 931 Middle Country Road in St. James. It's on the northeast corner of Middle Country Road and White Avenue. The property is zoned WSI. The request is a modification of a special exception for an existing repair garage, variance of a special exception standard for a repair garage to reduce the planted buffer adjacent to a residence district from 50 feet to 10 feet, variance to reduce minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 19 feet on White Avenue for a proposed 2,400 square foot repair garage, and reduce minimum parking from 32 to 28 spaces.
Good evening.
Good evening, Board. My name is John Gleason, architect, office at 336 6th Avenue in St. James, New York, 11780. I'm here to represent Scotsman 6 Auto Body Repair Shop. I received on November 14th the planning advisory report, 6 pages. It's pretty involved. And the property, just for a little background, the property used to be called Harbor Collision. Came for a variance here in 2019 for an accessory building that was built without COs. Now Scotsman's Auto Body has purchased the property, It's called Scotsman 6, meaning it's a sixth location auto body shop on Long Island, mainly in Suffolk and Nassau County. The proposal before us is to construct 2,400 square foot repair parts storage building. There's needed room now required for the new owner and the volume of work that comes in. Who does a lot of work for the neighboring dealerships in the area on Jericho Turnpike. As mentioned in the planning advisory report, we concur and agree with all comments and concerns with the planners and the planning department. If the board grants the new building, the owner intends to fully cooperate with the town planners to make sure the aesthetic of the building matches with neighborhood architecture. And as you know, the board knows it has to go through a full site plan review at the planning department. There will not be any infringements on neighboring properties. All buffers previously approved by the planning will be maintained and/or upgraded as required. There will be a vacant building demolished that is now currently on White Avenue, and that will remove an eyesore in the neighborhood. The building will be primarily used for storage of parts. There are no plans to install paint booths or actually putting lifts in that shop. No work has started on the property. We're in the process of obtaining proper permits and approvals. And if you have any questions, we ask for a favorable ruling. Thank you.
You said you had an opportunity to look at the planning advisory report. Did you have any concerns?
No.
Okay. Anyone on the board have any questions?
Oh, thank you.
No? Planning?
Like you guys said, we did prepare a planning advisory report with, you know, the recommended decisions with conditions. We recommend the board follow that.
Okay. Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Okay. Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Case closed.
Thank you.
The next case is case 19430, Joseph Scalone, Long Island Investment Group. The location is 5 Bowman Lane in Kings Park. It's located on the east side of Bowman Lane, 200 feet north of Knight Lane. The property is zoned R10. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum setback of an 11-foot retaining wall and 6-foot fence from the property line from 11 feet to 7 feet. Increase the max combined height of a fence and retaining wall from 6 to 17 feet for a proposed concrete retaining wall and proposed 6-foot vinyl fence.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Francesco Borghese. I'm the architect of record for the residence, address 685 Hempstead Turnpike, Franklin Square, New York.
Spelling? Can we get a spelling on your last name?
Borgese. Client purchased the property a few months back with the rear yard in serious disrepair and the existing timber retaining walls collapsing and washing off, and there is very steep slopes on the east end and the rear of the property. So we are proposing to obviously remove what's there existing and put in concrete retaining walls to retain the soil and prevent further runoff and soil from washing off into neighbors' properties. We don't think it's going to be a detrimental eyesore to the neighboring properties. We don't really feel that there's any other method of retaining back the soil, and the variance is necessary in order to keep the soil obviously on the property and prevent any further damage. It will require extensive excavation and backfilling in order to achieve it.
We had heard this one a few months back, correct?
I believe so, and I think they sold to somebody, right? And then that they withdrew it, so now we're back again.
Correct. So their previous variance, I think, included a construction of a tiki bar and a whole bunch of other improvements which have been removed from the application and will be removed from the existing site.
Okay. I just had a question. I took a look at it, and I also took a look at these plans. Is it possible, I noticed that the retaining wall is set back from the property line.
Yes.
Is it possible to go with a tiered approach to the retaining walls so that we could kind of, what is the height of that one retaining wall, 11 feet?
It's 11 feet is the highest point at
And
the
then you
east
have a
side.
fence on it, which
And then
makes
we
it
have a
17. So if
5.5
you're that
foot
neighbor,
fence.
you're looking at a 17-foot
Yeah,
wall.
that's correct.
Obviously, the code allows you to go closer with a smaller wall. So if you tiered it and went with, say, a 4-foot and then a 5-foot, or a 5-foot and then a 4-foot, and then graded the land in between the two walls, you could net out the same height of retaining wall, and it wouldn't be so impacting on the neighbor, and might actually be a little less costly to build.
Well, it's certainly an option that we can explore, and I could discuss it with the client, for sure.
I just know, for me, I think that this is something that I don't think I'd approve, being 17 feet high. I don't know, do we want to,
So, yeah, we agree with the tiered retaining wall. I know our engineering department's also reviewing this, and he mentioned that he sent out comments to the owner and architect, outlining all the issues. But they also prefer tiered as well. So this might be something that has to be
Did they
hashed
send
out a little bit.
You know
I
if the
don't-
comments were sent out recently?
I think like very recently, yeah.
Okay.
You might not have received them yet. I think one of them was actually, he wanted the plans to be signed and sealed by a licensed engineer. But, yeah, I think we prefer the tiered as well as engineering department. But, yeah, look out for that letter. You might want to hash out some of the design before this board, makes a
Well,
decision.
the reason it's important is because I think if you did it that way, several of these variances would actually drop off. You wouldn't even need them.
Okay.
So we can adjourn it so that you can, rather than just have the information that we have and make a decision based on that, I think we could squeeze them into the next meeting.
Was it December 9th? If that's enough time, if that's
Is
enough.
that enough time
we
for you
could
to?
squeeze you in, but
Or
it's-
you want to try for, I don't know if they're going to be doing retaining walls in December and
I
January. Do you
don't
wanna-
want to commit to December 9th.
I think the next one is
January.
it's tentative.
I believe it is the 14th, hold on.
Whatever you guys, I got the 13th and 27th.
13th, yeah.
Okay.
I think
That
So
might be
would you wanna-
More reasonable.
planning board and BZA.
Might give us a little bit more time if we vote.
Yeah, we're not
13th.
worried about it, obviously, it's better if you do it
If we
that way.
can get everything ready for the 9th, when do we need to?
We would need
resubmit everything
to
by?
put it on almost immediately, because you'd have to do they just have to post, because it's an adjournment, right?
Yeah, but if you're modifying the
Oh, right,
requests,
we'd have to mail, so.
you might have to do
You'd
mail.
have to know within the next day or two.
Okay. It's looking more like the January date.
And
Okay.
it's not also
Yeah.
submission. I think the town engineer should take at least like a good
look at it.
preliminary look at it.
I wanted to see the comments that we got back
yeah.
also, and
Right.
All right, so
Discuss
we'll
with
hold
the
it,
client how they wanna go,
we'll
yeah.
adjourn and we'll hold it open, and we'll tentatively put you on for the January 13th date.
okay.
Of course, yeah. Okay. Actually, do we want, we have, just one second. Sabrina?
The property is also located within the town's local waterfront revitalization program and will need an LWRP determination from the planning department in order for our department to complete our environmental review. I don't know if planning has discussed that with you yet. So please contact them to discuss that.
I believe they
We filed that.
You did file, great. The property is also located within the New York State River Corridor, and we recommend the applicant contact DEC to determine if you need a permit for this work. Therefore, no decision will be made, obviously, since it's being,
Okay. Are you familiar with the DEC process?
I'm not, no.
I believe you just submit for a letter of non-jurisdiction.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Sure.
My name's Nick Milady. I live at 848 St. John Lynn Road, directly behind the property.
Okay, just spell your last name.
Mullady. As you mentioned, there was a prior owner here last year applying for variances. One of the variances was for over pavement of the backyard, which was leading to catastrophic water runoff, which actually is the leading cause for why the retaining wall failed in the first place. So my concern is, have any plans been made to curb the water runoff with these plans that are being submitted?
That would all be part of the town engineer's involvement, and obviously, you can answer that. Is there anyone else who has any comments from the audience, so we can do them all at once? No?
We've removed all the pavement, and we brought the pavement to within the regulations of the town.
Okay, and then
So-
obviously, you'll have to have the plan signed off by the town engineer, which will include drain-off calculations.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So we'll see you on, we're gonna keep this open, we'll see you on the 13th.
Right. Right. We good for the next one? For the next one? Vlachich. The next case is case 19431, John Vlachich. I think I'm saying that correctly. Location 11 Vance Street in Comac. It's located on the north side of Vance Street, 87 feet west of Indian Head Road. The property is zoned R10. The request is a variance to increase the max permitted paved surface in the front yard from 25% to 34%, and east side yard from 25% to 72%, and west side yard from 25% to 73% for proposed patio pavers, and to reduce total side yards from 28 feet to 25 feet for proposed 60 square foot outdoor kitchen.
Good evening.
Good evening, how you doing? My name is Rich Lambert. I'm with the Platinum Group at 286 Route 109 in Farmingdale.
Do you have a power of attorney?
Uh,
Or is the applicant here?
The applicant is here.
Then they can just come up, and we don't need a power of attorney.
Okay. Can I still talk, or he can?
He's gonna start, and then you can.
Okay. He had knee surgery. It's,
We're here all night, so take your time.
I think I had something notarized. It might be in that folder to get power of attorney. Lambert. Welcome.
Hi, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Just had full knee replacement yesterday.
you're
Came for
moving around pretty good.
Came here for moral support. John Vlachich, Vlacich, at 11 Van Street in Comac.
Okay, would you like Mr. Lambert to speak on your behalf?
Please.
All right, thank you. You don't have to go all the way back if you want to.
I'm gonna have a seat. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so this application is for a new swimming pool, new patios, expanding the driveway of the existing property. And the request is for the variances that were listed. The existing conditions, as it is on site, it's kind of like a remove and replace situation where it shows on the survey that, you know, the side yards, both side yards are paved with existing concrete. So what we'll be doing is just removing those and then just replacing with new concrete pavers. So those, we are requesting, you know, variances for those two situations. The front yard, we are expanding the driveway a little bit, which would just add to the square footage of coverage, and installing a new walkway in the front. The property in the rear yard is screened, heavily on both sides, so it won't be a nuisance to any of the neighbors. And let's see, behind them is, I believe, a town sump, so there's no neighbors behind them. So we request, all the variances that are listed above.
All right. Anyone on the board have any questions?
Thank you.
Planning?
That pavement is set back at least a foot from the property line, correct?
It's a foot.
That's it.
Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Case closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case is case 1943 J&H Holdings LLC. Location is 395 Oser Avenue in Hopog, south side of Oser Avenue, 2,254 feet west of Parkway Drive South. The property is owned LI. The request is a variance to increase the building height from 35 feet to 42 feet for a proposed 89,320 square foot two-story warehouse and office building.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Adam Mason. This is my wife, Jennifer Mason. We live at 8 Meadow Creek Court, East Islip, 11730. And TJ is going to represent us on this.
And you guys are members of the LLC?
Yes, we're the owners. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. My name is TJ Wilkinson with Bowler, located at 275 Broad Hollow Road in Melville, New York.
Spell your last name, please.
Wilkinson. I'm here tonight as the civil engineer for the applicant, Triple J&A Holdings LLC. The applicant intends to clear the site to construct a new 89,320 square foot building to use as the headquarters for their business, Mason Technologies. Mason Technologies is a national low-voltage contractor headquartered on Long Island, seeking to relocate and expand with a new state-of-the-art facility. We are here today solely to seek a height variance to increase the proposed building height from 35 feet to 42 feet. The increased height will support the applicant's storage and racking needs in the warehouse portion of the building. It should be noted that the same height variance was granted for a prior application on this property for a larger 103,000 square foot building. That application was case 19266 and was approved by this board on March 26, 2025. Additionally, the eastern half of the property is located within the Hopog Industrial Overlay District, which allows a 50-foot building height. The site also sits low relative to Oser Avenue. The first floor elevation of the new building will be between 2 and 5 feet lower than its Oser Avenue frontage. The variance requested is also in line with precedent in the Long Island Innovation Park at Hopog. 49 Mall Drive, a nearby site, was permitted 42-foot height per BZA case 18422, dated March 10th, 2021. In summary, our variance request is in character with the remainder of the industrial park and recent applications which have sought to construct modern warehouse buildings. This relief will support the relocation of a local business into the town of Smithtown. That concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions the board may have, and we also have applicant and architect representation present should there be any operations or building questions.
I'd just like to point out for the record, this property has the overlay district, kind of runs right through the middle of it.
Yes.
So half of the property, this would automatically be permitted.
That's correct.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure for the record. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
Planning.
It's not really relevant to the height, but just the facade, just I know that's what you're proposing, but it is subject to Board of Site Plan review.
Yes,
So-
understood.
Okay. Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Like half the room. The next case is case 19433, Shane LeBlanc. The location is 6 Saturn Boulevard in Hauppauge, northwest corner of Saturn Boulevard, Sequoia. Property is zoned R10. The request is a variance to reduce minimum front yard setback on Sequoia Drive from 40 feet to 36 feet, which is existing. Reduce minimum rear yard setback from 50 feet to 32 feet for a proposed 351 square foot first floor addition and proposed 299 square foot second floor addition.
Hello, my name is Shane LeBlanc. I'm the homeowner. Ralph Michelle is the drafter, and I'd like for him to speak on my behalf.
Good evening. My name is Ralph Michelle, office at 255 West Main Street, Smithtown, New York. Last name is Michele. So the house had already had it's a corner property. So the property on Sequoia already had a approved variance for 36 feet, and we're keeping and maintaining that line with the new addition that's going to come out the backyard. So we are going to be reducing the rear yard from the existing 43.9 to 32 feet for that addition. The front porch doesn't have any issues because it's going to be within the front yard setback as is anyway. So the relief is, we are creating the issue, but because it's a corner property, we're kind of constrained with where we can put the, where we can put the addition. And considering the addition is for second floor for the master suite to be enlarged, that's where the suite is. So instead of reconfiguring the entire house, we're just going with where the footprint is now. It's within the character of the neighborhood. It's not really going to affect any views of anyone's down the street. The existing front yard setback is already going to be maintained, and the backyard is, you're not really going to notice the difference from the backyard anyway.
Okay. Anyone on the board have any questions?
Thank you.
Planning? Sabrina?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the current application to add additional bedrooms does require approval from the Department of Health. This information is needed in order to complete our environmental review. We have notified Mr. LeBlanc in both a letter and an email, I'm not sure if you've received it yet, of their need to contact the health department. Therefore, no decision will be made until we receive that information.
Okay.
We're not adding a bedroom.
From the plans, it appears that you're building over the garage, and there's a fourth bedroom and an office. The original footprint.
Yes, we are adding a bedroom, but then again, it's also within the confines of the house. So typically, Smithtown has always typically added one bedroom to a house without going to Board of Health.
I'm just going by the guidelines that say anything that was built before 1973, we have to refer you to the Department of Health.
It hasn't brought up by the building department when we went, and typically, like I said, and I've done applications in the past where one additional bedroom has been added to a home without having to go to Board of Health.
The office could also be potentially reviewed. We're just going by those guidelines. I don't know what the building department, sometimes we have different views of the application, so.
Can I discuss it with them? Because again,
Sure.
I went over this thoroughly with them.
Yes, and you can call our department as well tomorrow.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, case closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case is case 19434, Island. Location is 500 Middle Country Road. It's on the south side of Middle Country Road, 730 feet west of Southern Boulevard. Property zoned LI. This is special exception. Variance to reduce minimum side yard setback on the north side from 20 feet to 6 feet. Reduce minimum side setback on the west side from 20 feet to 10 feet. Reduce parking from 1 to 276 spaces. Reduce required truck loading spaces from 3 parking setback. Property line from 6 to 1 feet. And eliminate required landscape islands for proposed 15,680 square foot addition with 2,700 square foot mezzanine.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Keith Archer, Harris, Bloom and Archer, 445 Broad Hollow Road, Huntington, representing the applicant in this request for several variances, as well as for one special exception for a trucking station, which incidentally was previously granted to this site by this board several years ago. The property is situated on the south side of Middle Country Road, west of Southern Boulevard. It's owned light industrial. So the entire building and site are occupied solely by Island Air, which designs and manufactures through-the-wall air conditioning units and heat pumps. It does not get more local than Island Air because this property is really just a stone's throw away. With me to respond to any questions, engineering-wise, site plan-wise, is Ryan Hansen, who prepared the site plan before you. So this application was filed for a good reason. The business of Island Air is doing well and is need of expansion space, principally for storage. So as noted in the planning advisory report, the specific proposal is to add a one-story, 15,680 square feet of additional space on the north side of the building, and internally to add a 2,700 square foot mezzanine. The company presently employs about 190 employees and is not planning on adding any more employees in connection with this expansion because it's really just for storage. So as noted in the Planning Advisory Board's report, the property is generally surrounded by commercial and industrial uses. Most recently, a large, and I mean large, long storage building was constructed directly to the east of the property. The property grades north gently towards Middle Country Road, such that the adjoining property to the north is at a bit of a lower elevation. The summary of the application in the Planning Advisory Report goes over the 13 standards that are required to be satisfied in order for this board to grant the special permit for the trucking station. So since the report is a part of the record, I'm not going to go over all of the standards, but the report notes that those standards have been satisfied. The variances requested variances have also been reviewed within the Planning Advisory Report, and I'm happy to say that they've found to be not substantial, although obviously that would be ultimately determined by a neg deck, which I'm hoping will be forthcoming, and that once the neg deck is issued, that the project can be approved. So just since this is, a project subject to CEQA, I guess we'll go over the standards, and that is that this isn't going to create any undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. The surrounding properties are commercial, industrial, it's owned light industrial and WSI, and there's no other way to obtain the results that's being requested because the company is in need of additional storage space. And the requested variances, when measured against potential negative impacts, are not substantial. Again, it's only adding a small percentage to the existing building. And while the need may be deemed to be, or the variance may be deemed to be self-created, most of them are, but as long as you satisfy the requirements to show no significant impacts, that usually satisfies CEQA. So that concludes my presentation. We did read the planning advisory report, and we accept it.
So the Suffolk County
I don't believe we have Suffolk County planning, but we do have a neg deck
Great.
recommendation, but we don't have Suffolk County planning, I believe.
I mean, they have 30 days. You don't have to hear back from them. I think they're given 30 days. Is it 45? Okay, I'd have to look to see when it was referred to them.
Okay, just for the record, we should have it by the next meeting.
Yeah. Have it, or it should, I'd have to check to see when it was sent out. I
Okay.
kind of rely on the secretaries.
I'm not sure, well, that's for later. Sabrina, did you have anything to add?
Comments?
No? Anyone on the board have any other questions?
I understand it's an industrial site and so on. I would just think, is there any plan to do any type of curb appeal as you drive by the location, being that there's cars right on Middle Country Road? Is there going to be any type of buffer or anything
So
on?
I don't believe they own that. So see this little black line?
what Ryan is saying is that it's a flag lot, and it's set back substantially from Middle Country Road, so you don't even
Gotcha.
see the building.
So this is their property
Gotcha.
that goes.
Yeah.
Back there. Gotcha. Understood.
So do you think you could put a tree there that's big enough to cover the whole next site?
Big tree.
Gotcha.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, case closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
You're not wrong there.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just leaving that. Just marking what I have to read and all.
The next case is case 19242, ADT Real Estate Holdings. Okay. Location is southeast corner of Town Line Road and Pulaski Road. The property is owned LI. The request is a special exception to permit outdoor storage in the LI zoning district. Variance of a special exception standard to allow the outdoor storage area to exceed gross floor area from 1 time to 5 times. Variance to permit a fence gate greater than 4 feet in the required front yard. Reduce minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 0 feet on Town Line Road and Pulaski Road for a proposed 6-foot chain link fence with gate. To permit outdoor storage not on the same lot as the principal use. To permit environmentally sensitive land, steep slopes greater than 15% to be altered. To permit construction within 10 feet of any slope greater than 25% for proposed outdoor storage of vehicles.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. We've submitted the appropriate documents to Mr. Colato. Just a little bit of history about this parcel. I believe it was in the early 90s, I'm not sure, when the Dejana people, actually it was the father of, who's still around, by the way, who went from a gas station to repairing and remodeling trucks to this particular parcel. And that was the first building along Pulaski Road. And I did that application, and they worked there for many years, and then it became time to build another building because the Dejana people were expanding faster than the space they had would allow. So the second building was built. At that time, the Dejanas under ADT Realty purchased property, and that property was bought from, I guess you could say it was a transit mix company who mined sand right on the property. So from the new building on Pulaski Road all the way to Town Line Road, you have substantial slopes, which are mentioned in the applications for the variances. What Dejana did initially under ADT Realty, second generation, Andy Dejana, they decided they wanted to build a self-storage place. That was probably decided towards the end of COVID. We made applications, and it was decided that it wasn't feasible for the people, ADT Realty, also known as Dejana, decided they weren't going to continue with that project. So here we are, and what do we do with the rest of the property? So we've made an application to this board, which I have done probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times. And the application is to allow, under the light industrial zoning district, outside storage. However, the outside storage that we need is much larger than the size of the building times the amount of storage that you're allowed. So that's one of the variances that we're requesting. I'm sure you've all looked at the PAR, and it's the same as it was in February when we adjourned the case in order to think about what what we could do to economically preserve the property and at the same time get a use that would be somewhat feasible and economically viable for my client. So anyway, long story short, we want to store new vehicles on the site. We've read the PAR. My client has read the PAR, has no objection to any of the requirements. I talked to Andy Dejana today, and he's looked over everything, and would like this board to move forward with a favorable a grant. Whether the undesirable change would be produced in the character of the area. Well, the character of the area on Pulaski Road and Old Northport Road on the south side is all industrial. There's 2 Dejana buildings, then there's this slopey property which we want to store vehicles on, and we don't think it's going to change the character of the neighborhood. Right now, it's a kind of a disaster area, as the former owner um, mined sand and left it that way. So in one sense, it's Dejana that's going to make it better. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant could be achieved by some method feasible to the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Well, this is the only way then we could make it work, is to do some substantial grading, of course, with the approval of engineering and all other town departments. Whether the area variance is substantial, well, yes, some of them are, and some of the requests that we made under the initial request, the PAR has some other conditions and some recommendations to the board with respect to mitigating and making those variances less substantial, and we agree with those. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district. Well, I think it would have a good effect because we take an old sand mine concrete products company and store cars there. They will be sufficiently buffered from Pulaski Road. The only entrance will be, and I believe the way the PAR described it, it would be at kind of the corner, the entrance and exit would be at the corner of Pulaski and Town Line Road. So it would be in an industrial area where those cars would be moved in and out. And it's not like they're going to be moving 50 cars a day, or trucks, I'm sorry, automobiles, so probably 99% would be trucks, I misspoke. So they do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 a day, whatever it is. Was the difficulty self-created? Well, I guess the only self-created part of it was they bought this property, they meaning Dejana, also known as ADT Realty, and were originally going to build self-storage, decided not to, and now would like to store new motor vehicles. So we asked the board for its favorable consideration. Again, we went over the PAR with the powers that be, Andy Dejana, and some of the people that work for him, and we don't have any objection to any of the conditions. Does the board have any questions? I'll try to answer them.
The only question I had is with respect to the outdoor storage. The request is for 1 to 5 times. What building are we using to determine that number?
The Jana building to the east.
So this will be viewed as one site
Yes,
plan?
The new building, right, Matt? That's 5 times the new
The one
building.
to the east. You can see
So,
it.
so I guess in the eyes of the town Board of Site Plan Review, this will be kind of,
So that's one of the conditions we have, is that it's, if you move forward with this proposal, we would prefer a primary structure similar to Farino, to the south, but if the board wants to move forward, we wouldn't object as long as we have condition 1 that, it's used in connection with the adjacent parcel.
okay.
And if that use is ever terminated, then this approval, these cars have to be removed and vacated.
Okay, and that was your understanding as
Yes,
well?
I mean, if the use is terminated, obviously, we're not going to be keeping a product there.
Okay, all right. Sabrina?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, to ensure full compliance with our environmental review, we wish to consider information presented by the applicant as well as any comments from the public before we make a recommendation to the board. Therefore, no decision will be made tonight.
Okay, and I'm sorry, Matt, did you have anything else? Was that it?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone in the audience like to be heard? Okay. Yeah.
My name is Karen Welk. Road, Fort Salonga, New York.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Welkis. I represent the Fort Salonga Association tonight and all my neighbors who are so frustrated with what has gone on with this parcel. It is the third property that Dejana purchased, and there's been ample time to improve it. Instead, they have illegally parked vehicles, hundreds of vehicles, cars, trucks, etc., on a slanted segment of the property with lights blaring all evening, every evening, noise, fumes, dirt. And this area can be well seen from certain homes in Fort Salonga, most especially Gull Hill and other smaller communities. It is the entranceway, despite it being in such disrepair after all these years of Dejana owning it, it is the entranceway, the south entranceway to Fort Salonga, the north entranceway to Comac. And it also accesses Kings Park, and yet it looks like a dump. And for those of us and my neighbors who have put so much time and energy into their homes and can look down on this with nothing in these variances that would talk to the master plan of beautification, improvement, fixing up that area that has been in violation for, I've been there for 50 years. And it has never improved. There are some smaller sites, smaller companies that have built nicer buildings and try to provide buffer zones so that when you drive past, you don't see what you see on the Dejana property. At one time, Mr. Tremarco spoke of the plan to put self-storage there. They requested 27 variances. The plans, which we paid $17 for at that time to review, showed false advertising, trying to be polite. It's in this particular new request for variances, it's pretty much of the same thing, and there's a lot of opposition to it. And we hope that you, as our representatives, will look much more carefully at this to see the rusted, rotted out fence that has been there all of this time, unsafe, not secure. Beautiful homes have gone up across the way to look at this, and no effort has been made to improve it. We ask that you consider that. Think about, if nothing else, some landscaping, a buffer, something that would shield. And then what is the whole purpose? Outdoor vehicle storage? This is LI. I really don't see that that's appropriate for the area. If you go by and see the entrance, you look right through to all of these cars that are just sitting on a slant. Moving the entrance to the corner is even a worse idea, because now it's somewhat down the road, downtown line, south from Pulaski. But moving it north to the corner, as was just mentioned, is going to make the traffic, which is already insane, because Town Line and Bread and Cheese are used as thoroughfares from the Long Island Expressway. And there's so much traffic that you often have to sit through 3 lights before you can move. So now moving the entrance to this property
Can you just
close.
hold on 1 second?
Yes.
I don't see that.
The entrance looks like
No.
how it's depicted on the
That's
site
not-
plan.
That's not in
What don't you
any of the plans.
What don't you see?
I don't see that the entrance is getting moved.
He just said that.
Yeah, but not on our plans. So
Well-
if it doesn't show it on the plans, it's not going to happen.
All right, well, that's helpful. That's one thing that would be
Just
helpful
to
us.
address a couple of your other concerns.
Yes.
The planning department had prepared a planning advisory report where they're addressing a lot of your concerns in terms of new fencing, dense buffers to hide what's back in there, addressing the lighting so that the lighting is brought down in compliance so that it doesn't shed off of the property. So a lot of the things that you're mentioning, the applicant has already agreed to do.
The complaints that we made in writing prior to COVID, when the storage facility, the self-storage facility was going to be built, there was a lot of work with your various departments, and I'm sure a lot of what you're seeing that I don't have privy to right now were from those initial complaints, addressing the 27 variances that were requested at that time. But since you're the current board, we hope, my neighbors and I, that you will give this a fresh look and add anything that you think could help the community and to improve that corner, which is an important corner, a large corner, and we ask for help in making it better, which the Smithtown Master Plan did address, coming down on some of these violations, not downgrading the zoning, and if this is already owned, not if, this is already owned by Dejana, encouraging them to just be more community-minded. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard on this application? Sure, for her or for, okay,
Not for her.
for the applicant.
Applicant.
Okay.
I guess I misspoke about, it being in the corner, but I read the PAR, and I guess I didn't understand what the,
I think it's a fence they were for, the new fence, not the entrance.
okay. So I apologize, I misspoke. I wasn't trying to deceive anybody, for lack of a better word. One of the things that I just like to comment on, and you said it already, Mr. Chairman, whatever the sins of the past were, we're trying to make it better now. And I don't see this board or the planning department, the Board of Site Plan Review, which is the town board, is going to let anything go by. And Dejana will do whatever, has to do whatever the town says. So, and we do want to work with the neighbors. The sad part of it is there is always some divider between industrial property and residential property. And the town has a tough job of trying to protect the residents, which they should be protected, and at the same time allow developers to do what they do in properly zoned properties. So we're going to do the best we can, and even though you may not believe me or Dejana, the town is certainly not going to let us get away with anything. Thank you.
I believe John had another.
I have a question now. These are going to be brand-new cars, so I'm assuming from
They're
car
trucks,
dealerships.
I'm sorry. They're motor vehicles. Usually it's trucks, pickup
just-
trucks. And
So there'll be no, like, electrical pickup trucks that will require you to maybe install an electrical charging station for them down the road? Because new now is both gas and electric.
Yeah, no, well, first of all, if you had those charging stations, you have to get approval. You can ask Mr. Collado from the town. I don't think they're going to do that because it would require substantial wiring and whatever.
So there'll be no electrical vehicles stored on that property?
No, to the best of my knowledge, most of them are, well, I guess they're pickup trucks, but they're more truck bodies where they put dumps on them, small dump trucks, utility bodies, and those are usually not electrical.
So it's a frame truck that eventually will be a
Yes.
box truck or
Yeah.
a dump truck? Okay, I follow.
Yeah, it's not a completed truck. That's what the Dejana does. They take the trucks and put bodies on them.
All right, that's it. I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, case closed. And we do not have a secret yet, so there'll be no action tonight. Thank you.
The next case is Case 19407, Bola EM Realty LLC. The location is 2207 Jericho Turnpike in Comac, located on the north side of Jericho Turnpike, 135 feet west of Ruth Boulevard. The property is owned WSI. The request is a variance to increase the max height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 18 feet. That's signs 1 and 2. Increase the number of ground signs from a max of 1 per parcel to 5 per parcels. That's for sign 4. Increase the number of wall signs from a max of 1 sign to 5 signs. That's signs 1, 2, and 3. Increase the number of wall signs from a max of 1 sign to 5 signs. That's signs 5 and 6. Permit a wall sign not to face a public street. That's for signs 2 and 5. Permit a wall sign above another wall sign. That's signs 3, 5, and 6. And permit a prohibited sign for 2 signs on a roof canopy. That's signs 1 and 2.
Good evening, everybody. For the applicant, David Altman, Chief General Counsel for Bola Oil Corporation, 809 Stewart Avenue, Garden City, New York. With me this evening is Chris Tartaglia from High Point Engineering. He's our civil engineer, and to the extent the board has any site-specific questions or questions relating to the signs themselves, Mr. Tartaglia is certainly here to address your questions. ALT-MAN. The property, 2207 Jericho Turnpike, is known by Suffolk County Tax Map Number District 800, Section 89, Block 2, Lot 7.1. The property is zoned WSI. It is situated on the north side of Jericho Turnpike, proximate to the intersection with New York State Route 347. The site has an area of a little over 59,200 square feet, with approximate frontage on Jericho Turnpike of 310 feet. The signs at issue tonight, I will note before I start, are in fact non-illuminated. I'll cut to the chase as it relates to the signs which are probably most at issue and probably warrant most consideration from this board, which are the canopy signs themselves. Having discussed the signage and particularly the canopy signs with planning, we do note that variances are required both for their height and for the number of signs. The height themselves is necessitated by the canopy itself. The canopy, which has a minimum clearance, I believe, of 15 feet, Chris, is that correct? Which is necessary for purposes of allowing trucks to pass underneath, hence the maximum height of the signage on the canopy roof. One of the things that Bola put the canopy signs up for, frankly, is visibility, particularly for westbound traffic on Jericho Turnpike. You note the roadway geometry, and Chris maybe can explain this slightly better than I, but roadway geometry to the east of the site on Jericho is curved, and as such, visibility of this particular site is somewhat obstructed for westbound traffic on Jericho. That's compounded by the fact that we have the Mavis Tire and Auto building to our immediate east, and there's also mature tree planting right on the roadway itself. So for westbound traffic, visibility of this site is minimal at best. And the first sign that there's a car wash on this site, frankly, is the east-facing canopy sign that's there today. All right. With respect to the other signage that's at issue, we have sign number 3, I believe it is, which is in the call, which is right over the entrance to the Bola Market itself. That advertises the car wash next door. I will note that that sign does help provide additional notice to patrons at the gas station and entering the market. Its visibility is somewhat nominal or minimal rather, in the sense that we have that sign underneath the facade or the entranceway to the Bola Market, and it's also partially, I'll say, I don't want to use the word screen, but it's partially obstructed in the sense by we have the Pump Island canopy between the road and the convenience store itself. The other two wall signs concern the car wash itself, where there is a notice for the free vacuum service. We have one beneath the Bola Wash facing Jericho itself, and then another one facing west directly above the vacuum stations themselves. The last sign, which I'll note, which requires a variance for number of ground signs, is the small car wash pole-mounted sign, and that sort of straddles right on between the two parcels themselves. So for those entering that easternmost curb cut, it provides notice to those that the car wash is to the immediate left, or to their immediate right. As to the character of the area, the area is generally commercial in nature to the west, to the east, and to the south. There is residential to the north, but I know this board is well aware that residential to the north is heavily buffered by dense double row plantings of evergreens, as well as a very tall wall, which the applicant was required to construct in connection with its prior site plan approval. As to the substantiality of the variance as well, based on the number of the variances, arguably, yes, it's substantial, but in terms of the character of the site, the signs blend in beautifully, and it helps provide notice to the community at large that, hey, look, there is this car wash there, and to advertise the product on site. There is no adverse environmental impact here. The character is established and long established with the gas station here. And while the difficulty is arguably self-created, I will say the board is aware, it is not dispositive of the application. With that being said, I would ask that this board look favorably and grant the application as requested by BOLA. I am available for any questions, as is Mr. Tartaglia.
We'll find out if we have questions. Actually, the only question I had was the necessity of those canopy signs.
Yeah, as I mentioned, particularly the east-facing canopy sign, right? Given the roadway geometry for westbound traffic on Jericho, there's little to no visibility based upon the curvature of the road, particularly for westbound traffic on Jericho, the fact that you have that Mavis Tire and Auto building literally right there, and then, of course, there's mature trees right on the road itself. So there's limited visibility, and your first notice to a motorist on westbound on Jericho is, in fact, that east-facing canopy sign.
But you'll be adding this pylon sign that says car wash?
That's internal to the site, if I'm not mistaken. It is not out on the roadway.
Is that number 4?
Yes. If I may approach, I'll show you.
I can see it.
Okay.
I do notice that you have an existing monument sign.
There is an existing monument sign. I don't believe there's any signage for the car wash on that monument sign.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? I guess if you want to have Mr. Tartaglia kind of elaborate on it, because personally, I'm a hard no on the canopy signs, so try and convince me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Chris Tartaglia. Last name is spelled Tartaglia, and I'm the engineer for the applicant. So we had done a meeting with Mr. Colato and planning staff before this, and we understand that canopy signs in general are generally a hard no with Town of Smithtown, so we understand that. I think some of the unique circumstances that Mr. Altman was discussing, and I prepared this exhibit that's now up on the screens, just to sort of give you the overview of all of the signage. So with regard to what I'm showing on that screen, so you can see all of those Bola Market, Bola Wash signs are permitted. Those are already permitted, approved, and have COs. So what we really are proposing are the free vacuum signs beneath the Bola Wash signs on the car wash wall, and of course, the car wash now open. Just by way of brief history, and I know there's another application up after us, but Bola undertook a massive renovation of this site, rebuilt the gas station to the west, and completely gutted and renovated the car wash. One of the notable changes they made to this car wash was they converted it from a full-service hand wash, essentially, to an automatic stay in your car, you never have to get out of the car. So I think one of the bigger advertisements for this car wash, quite frankly, having grown up and lived in the area for 50 years, is that you knew it was a car wash because of the hundreds of cars that were lined up on the property, spilling out into the roadway, both getting in and out of the site. One of the things that Bola's automatic wash has done is gotten rid of all of that. They run the entire facility with one employee, the car wash, whereas they had roughly 30 people working at this site before when it was a hand wash. The reason why I mentioned that and the reason why Bola has these car wash signs on the canopy is because, as David mentioned, they are the most visible, especially as you're driving westbound. There's a small monument sign that you really can't even see, especially when the trees in front of Mavis are in full bloom. So honestly, people don't know there's a car wash unless they're very, very familiar with the community. And they've only now, 2.5, I think 3 years later, after rebuilding this facility, they've actually started to get some customer clientele in there. And the key element for getting those customers in has been those canopy signs. In speaking with Mr. Singh, the principal of Bola, he said, I don't mind giving up any of the other signs, but those canopy signs are the lifeblood of this car wash. So we explained to him that Smithtown is the toughest town on canopy signs. There's, I think, 1 or 2 maybe legal canopy signs in the entire township, pre-existing non-conforming. And these are the ones that he wants most of all. So it's purely from a business perspective, Mr. Chairman, and it has helped save this car wash, which Mr. Singh thought in creating it as an automatic self-service car wash would be the savior and make this a more fitting business in the community, because before it was a great car wash, but it was absolutely a traffic nightmare. Bola's done away with all of that. It's now a safe and clean facility, and they just would like to be able to advertise that car wash better. And there's really no room in front to create a monument or a freestanding sign that would be as visible as this canopy sign is. So that's really the explanation, with the total understanding that this would be a one-off and a, you know, something the town probably hasn't done before, but there's the need for it anyway. I hope that helps answer that question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No, thank you.
Planning.
We agree with you. We don't recommend the canopy signs. You know, the board typically doesn't approve them. We do feel like, you know, there is other signage. I understand that these ones are the most visible, but there is other signage on the site that advertises the Bola wash. When it comes to the ground sign, I mean, I don't know if you really need that. There are other ground, you know, you've received variances in the past for increasing ground signs. I think when you're on the site, you can find the car wash. You don't need a sign, you know, 10 feet from the building pointing in the direction. So the 2 canopy signs and the ground sign, we do not recommend approval.
Okay.
Is there any room for the existing ground sign to put the Bola wash on there? There is a picture of it. Can you pull it up? I mean, I understand it's not 18 feet in the air, but.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And we did, as that's being pulled up, I recall we did discuss this in our meeting when we talked about this. So that's primarily for the gas station. Yeah, there it is there. So that advertises the gas station. It's on the gas station lot. But truly, these are developed as, both lots are developed as a single development. I don't know, maybe we can take this back to Bola and see if there's some way of augmenting that sign somehow to maybe better advertise the car wash, because it is in a good line of sight, that sign, agreed?
More so for traffic coming westbound on 347 as opposed to
Right.
westbound on Jericho.
Correct, right.
Well, in the interest of, I'm just one person, but I know how reluctant this board has typically been to approve canopy signs, because obviously it's not a one-size-fits-all. There may be a parcel where it could warrant it for business purposes, but then, you know, from the perspective of somebody who's trying to mitigate the sign pollution within the town, you want to try and limit when you approve those. So do you think it makes sense that rather than for us to close this case and decide on what we have so far, to go back and say, is it possible to come up with, I mean, obviously, you know, does it involve changing the size of the existing pylon side and maybe adding it to that and saying, all right, let's try and find something rather than bring the whole application back.
Right, because I'll tell you, I'm not in favor of the canopy signs either. So, I mean, I don't know how the other people feel, but,
So obviously we can
gotta-
adjourn and.
yeah.
I certainly understand the comments, and they were expected, understanding that this town's history relative to canopy signs. As it relates to that existing monument sign and potentially putting anything relative to the car wash there, it would likely necessitate a larger ground sign than what is there.
Right.
Particularly, first of all, as it relates to, and Chris can speak better to this than I probably, but as to the price signs themselves, they're required to be of minimum size. So that you really can't change. As to the Bola Market itself, obviously that's something we do want to keep. And Sunoco, of course, as the branded retailer here, has minimum signage requirements as well. So to add the car wash to that pylon, we would absolutely have to make it bigger. I will certainly talk to Mr. Singh tomorrow when I see him tomorrow morning as to the canopy signs and potential alternatives. I'll put it out there, and simply as a suggestion and nothing more, at least as to the south-facing canopy sign, given the visibility for westbound traffic coming off of 347, I could understand the question as to the necessity of that. As to the east-facing sign, that's something we would certainly like to keep. So maybe there's a compromise to be worked there. Again, given
What number?
this town's unique position as it relates to canopy signs and this site's unique position given roadway geometry and surrounding structures. So I just put that out there as a suggestion.
Yeah, and obviously, rather than for us to look
What?
at it and say, personally,
Yeah.
I'm not going for that, and then
It's
have you
this
say,
at the top?
well, that doesn't work for us either, and then Article 78 it to try and obtain an approval.
No,
I'd rather work with you guys personally and say, let's try
Mr.
and
Chairman,
figure
I
out.
truly appreciate the comments, and thank you and respect you for that. And I will certainly discuss that with Mr. Singh tomorrow morning as it relates to, the canopy signs themselves.
Is this sign lit?
You go back to
Tony,
the
is
sign,
this
the
sign
columns
lit?
going down, just put car
They said
wash
none of
going
them are
down,
illuminated.
None of them are-
like right on the side, see the white columns going down? And
I
just
see
have
it.
car wash going right down to both sides of that.
That's possible.
But obviously,
You don't have to
we don't
change
want
the
to tell
size
you
of
what
the
to
sign.
do.
No, it's just an
It's
idea.
possible, and I appreciate the suggestion. Thank you. So
okay,
what-
so
you
we'll-
want to continue the hearing?
I think so, I mean.
Or do you want
is
to
that
just
the best
close
way-
the hearing and leave it open for written comment?
So what's the exact reason for keeping it open? I'm a little,
Because obviously, if we're not in favor of this
the two canopies.
two canopy signs,
Right.
rather than close the hearing and have them come back with another application. My thought process was if we close, we have everything to make a decision on it, but if the decision is no, knowing how important those signs are, maybe there's an alternative.
Right, and look, and Chris raises a great point, to the extent new or different relief is created by modifying that sign right there, obviously, we would prefer to keep it open, and do whatever we need to do for purposes of renoticing.
What time, obviously, we're not in car wash season, so. it's-
You never know. You never know. So I know the December hearing isn't feasible on our end, so we'd be looking at the January hearing.
I think so. If that works for you, that
That's
works
fine.
for us. All right, so we'll adjourn this to January 13th.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Tony, supposed to adjourn it, because if they need to submit anything revised, it just.
Whatever the town attorney says we have to call it, that's what we're doing.
Simone, you have to give me a hard time. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case is case 19414, Broken Dock Properties LLC. Location is Acacia Road in Kings Park, southwest corner of Longfellow Drive and Acacia Road. The property is owned R10. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum lot area from 10,000 square feet to 6,000 square feet for proposed 1,672 square foot, two-story, one-family dwelling. Reduce minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 10 feet. Reduce minimum rear yard setback from 35 feet to 33 feet. Increase the gross floor area of lot in the LWRP from 1,500 square feet to 1,672 square feet. To permit a non-conforming lot to be used for a structure or building that does not or did not adjoin any lot of the same ownership. To permit a non-conforming lot to be used for a structure or building that does not or did not adjoin any lot under the same practical or effective ownership, whether or not the incidents of title are or were the same.
Do we want to read both at the same time, since it's kind of
That would be fine with me, too.
one application?
Yeah.
Okay, and then case 19415, Broken Dock Properties LLC, locations Longfellow Drive and Kings Park, south side of Longfellow Drive, 60 feet west of Acacia Road. Property is owned R10. The request is a variance to reduce the minimum lot area from 10,000 square feet to 4,000 square feet for a proposed 1,672 square foot, two-story, one-family dwelling. Reduce minimum lot frontage at setback from 75 feet to 40 feet. Reduce minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 10 feet. Reduce total side yard setbacks from 28 feet to 20 feet. Increase the max gross floor area of a lot in R10 from 30% to 37%. To permit environmentally sensitive lands to be altered for slopes greater than 15%. Increase the gross floor area of lot in the LWRP from 428 square feet to 1,460 square feet. To permit a non-conforming lot to be used for a structure or building that does not or did not adjoin any lot of the same ownership. To permit a non-conforming lot to be used for a structure or building that does not or did not adjoin any lot under the same practical or effective ownership, whether or not the incidents of title are or were the same.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. We've submitted the appropriate affidavits of posting and mailing. I'd just like to submit an area tax map that we worked up. Grace, we have about 3 or 4 of them, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
These two lots are adjacent, so kind of got to look at them both the same. Sorry.
Okay, so to start off with, I'm not going to stand here and tell you the lots are in single and separate ownership, because they're not. It's mentioned in the request for variances. But this is San Remo, and as probably this board knows, having heard many cases with respect to the San Remo area, you can see that this is a mixed bag of lots. You know, if you say, what is the general character of the area? Well, it's 40-footers, it's 60-footers, it's 100-footers. You can see on this tax map, and it doesn't encompass a tremendous amount of San Remo, but, you know, within a few hundred feet, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the other side, on the, I guess, the northeast side, you see 2 more 40-footers. So within a couple of hundred feet of the subject property, there are 7 40-foot lots. With respect to 60-foot lots, you can see and the same closeness, a couple of hundred feet. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 60-foot lots. So, you know, why do we have this kind of situation? Well, San Remo, as the board again well knows, that, you know, this was enacted, the map of San Remo was enacted in the was filed, I should say, in the 1890s. And obviously, there was no zoning at the time. The first zoning that was enacted was in 1932, and that was a different type of zoning. It was called density zoning, and I won't bore the board with that whole Megillah. But basically, in 1947, the area zoning was enacted, and San Remo became an R10 zoning. But by that time, the horse was already out of the barn. There were so many small lots in San Remo, not that anybody did it on purpose. They didn't know any better. They bought 3 lots, 4 lots, 10 lots, back-to-back lots, and the original buyers of San Remo, you can even see on Riviera Drive, there's one house that's on a 20-foot wide parcel. Right behind Riviera, there's a house that's on a 20-foot wide parcel. And that's the extreme, I know, but the 40-footer is not an extreme in San Remo. It's more commonplace in San Remo than any other zoning area in the town. And again, why is that? Because there was no zoning, and the people, I guess some of the people who worked in Kings Park Hospital, some of the people bought lots on time, as they say, from which was a gimmick that the Il Progresso newspaper put in. If you buy a subscription, and you can buy lots at 50 cents down and so much a month. So I guess a lot of the Italian people that lived in the city bought in San Remo. Many Irish people did who worked in the Kings Park State Hospital, and certainly other other ethnic groups bought there. I guess what I'm trying to say is the character of the area is 40s, 60s, 80s, some hundreds, but not a heck of a lot. So I guess, again, I'm saying the character of the area is mixed. There has always been separate tax bills for these lots. Now, what does that mean? It certainly doesn't mean I can conform to the single and separate statute. I can't, and I'm not going to waste your time trying to think that, well, I would have to put in a single and separate search, and it's not. So, the tax bills are an indication that the intention of the parties for years and years back was to keep it separate. And that's why we have health department approval. We have health department approval for a 40-footer and for a 60-footer. And that health department approval could only be gotten if there was tax bills going back to about 1981, I believe. So whether the variance would produce an impact on the variances on both parcels, so that we're clear, the 40 and the 60, whether they would produce an impact on adjacent properties or the neighborhood, there would be no impact on adjacent properties or the neighborhood, as the lots would fall into the character of the area, which again is kind of a mixed bag of all kinds of lots for the reasons I indicated, I guess a couple of minutes ago. Whether the variance is substantial. Well, sure, you could look at it as being substantial when you look at what the requests are vis-a-vis if it was a 100-foot lot. Certainly, they are less than what we would need under the code. And by the way, the code is, as the board knows, since it's San Remo, the setbacks are less to start with. I believe 25-foot front yard and 35-foot setback. So the requests from that are less than it would be the normal 40, I think it's 40-foot front yard in the R10 zone. Whether the benefit can be achieved by an alternative, well, the only thing that we could do, and it would certainly be a very severe economic loss to the client, would be to combine the lots. The other suggestion that I thought about, and I did talk to Mr. Hans, was supposing we made the lots 50 foot each, so we get a little bit better width on each one. And in his opinion, he didn't think it made any difference. I don't know if the planning department has an opinion, but I think they do. So that's why I got that answer. So the third or the fourth condition or requirement, whether the variance would have an adverse effect on the environment. I just said a couple of minutes ago that the health department gave us approval. And of course, if the board approves this application, we would have to put in the new cesspool systems. They're called AI systems, and there are a bunch of different tanks that you put in. I don't know if anybody's ever seen them, but they're green, I believe made out of some plastic material, and then they have an electrical system that macerates the sanitary that comes in, and it also has to be maintained, I think, once a month, or maybe not that often, by someone, some company that makes sure everything is working. So, and then finally, whether the difficulty was created by the applicant or a former owner. Well, sure, you could say, hey, you know, these lots are in the same ownership, but the former owner, not the present owner, but the former owners in the line of ownership, yeah, they didn't know any better. They just bought lots and hoped to God that, you know, their family would come and live there, and you would have what you have now. The only lots you find, this is rare that there's this condition in San Remo. Most of the time now, they're knockdowns. There's one house on Walnut that was just built. I believe it was in single and separate ownership, though, and this board gave them the variances for a 40-footer. So, you can say, yeah, it was self-created, but in the sense that my client bought it, and the client before, and the owner before that, and the owners and owners and owners before that always owned it in the same name, the 40-footer and the 60. I think it was their intention, though, to keep them separate. And finally, the signs have been up. They were up the last time this board, and we asked for an adjournment because we didn't have a full board, and of course, Mr. Benz is no longer with us. And so anyway, the neighborhood had substantial notice, and they had notice again. So I don't see anybody here looking at it and complaining about it. And my client indicates to me that he hasn't heard anybody complaining. So we asked the board for its favorable consideration. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
The only question I would have, when I look at these surveys, I notice that the Broken Dock Properties owns the adjacent, is the same ownership on the adjacent parcel as well?
The improved parcel?
The improved parcel?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
But the way that, I know what you might, I'm trying to think of what you're thinking of, Mr. Tanzi, but I think the way that property is situated, we couldn't give any lots. See, that's on 120 foot, and immediately I thought, well, maybe we can give 20 feet, and 20 feet, we'd have 120, then we'd have 60-foot lots, but you can see there's buildings right on the line, and they're substantial.
I don't see that.
If you look at the tax map that Grace
Okay.
gave you,
Yeah.
you see there are buildings right on the line. That's the first thing I said to my client.
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the board have any questions? Planning.
Yeah, a couple comments. I guess it applies to both lots. We're doing them together. I mean, I do believe there is an undesirable change, especially if they're not single and separate, because every time you grant a home on a substandard lot in San Remo, you're incrementally increasing the density for that neighborhood. So there is an undesirable change every time a new home is built that's substandard. The alternative is both lots equal 10,000 square feet. So I believe that is reasonable. You can put one house there. That's aside from the two existing units that are to the south. I don't know how that affects that, but on the surface, it is an alternative. They are substantial, you know, you're less than half on the one and you only meet 60% on the other one. The environmental impact, again, I know Health Department has their new sanitary systems, but it's additional pollution into the groundwater that wouldn't be permitted with zoning, especially in the local waterfront area. You know, more impervious surfaces, those type of things that also affect the groundwater. And then self-created, I mean, it's definitely self-created. Your client bought it a year or two ago. A lot of people came into the office asking about that. Everybody was aware of all the existing conditions, so it's 100% self-created. And I don't think you can deny that, so.
Sabrina?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As Matt has mentioned, both properties are located within the town's local waterfront revitalization program and will need that LWRP determination from planning in order for DEW to complete our environmental review. Additionally, both properties are located within the New York State River Corridor and will require permits from DEC. Therefore, no decision will be made tonight until we receive that information.
Obviously, there's nobody in the audience, unless you brought them with you that wanted to speak on this application.
Who did you say?
There's nobody in the audience unless you brought them with you.
Well, I just want to answer a couple of things that Matt said, and then we'll, thank God, go home. The fact that other people came to the planning department and said whatever they said and mentioned whatever they did, I don't think is relevant. Obviously, the planning department's entitled to their opinion, but I think the density, as I said before, the horse is already out of the barn in San Remo. So, you know, if you have one cesspool system or two, it's not going to really matter anymore, and it's not going to make San Remo any worse or better than it already is. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll have to entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Case is closed. And I believe that is it for the public portion this evening. All right, let's go to the decisions. Case 19421, we need a secra.
Make a motion to adopt the unlisted neg deck.
Got a motion is second on the secra, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Secret carries 5-0. Now on the merits.
On the merits, on case 19421, I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented, with the condition that a dense buffer be planted with the site plan review.
So, so that it be buffered according to Board of Site Plan Review, the retaining wall?
Board
The type 2
Or
buffer,
The type be planted,
I think so,
Okay.
and maintained.
planted and
maintained.
maintained? Okay.
Everyone okay with that? All right, we have a motion, we need a second.
I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 5-0 with conditions. Case 19422, Terrence Mulholland.
On case 19422, I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented.
The
Do
pool
we
ha-
get, the pool needs to be 11 feet?
11 feet, correct.
So approve your,
Is that just like a comment or something?
it's a, it's,
It was a
it's gotta
comment.
be like it's a condition, approve to, the minimum variance necessary to 11 feet.
You
Can't
said
go
the
10.
pool shall abide by the side yard or something like that?
They never were asking for that variance.
They weren't, but it's on the survey, I don't wanna,
Right, so
Confusing.
even though it showed it on the survey, we just want to make sure that this approval is for the variances that were being requested. Okay. We have a motion, we need a second.
Second.
Is that clear for you, Matt?
as a condition? Or
I
just
don't
a
know that
comment?
they weren't asking for a variance there, so
Yeah.
even though they showed it on the survey, it,
So for the approval letter, I'm just saying it's approved 5-0. Should we add?
Could they submit a new survey to the town showing that it's 11 feet?
Could. Could we just note it that the pool shall maintain the an
Side
11
yard.
foot? Okay, like a note or a comment?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Case 19423, Michael Falco.
On case 19423, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 5-0. Case 19424, Lawrence and Sarah Horner.
Okay.
On that one, a question, on that one there, they have, looks like drainage holes in the retaining wall. That's gonna be draining onto that property, the neighbor's property. Shouldn't he
Yeah.
run some kind of drainage tubing to catch the water so, and maybe run it off somewhere else, not to the neighbor's yard?
Well, I don't know that we would want to get that deep into it. We could put a condition on it that says all runoff must be maintained on the subject parcel, which is the town code. We
Because
could
those
just-
were, I saw the drainage holes in the walls, I thought about it after the fact. I mean, if it's nothing.
No, I mean, it's a good point, and we
we go
could add
back to
that condition. I was more concerned with the height of that 6-foot fence.
You know, that's also, but see the drainage holes?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it is hideous looking, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
If
what
they
do you
put
guys think?
Plantings there, it would look a lot better. But-
Yeah, and the concern is that because the fence
But
is.
isn't that the neighbor's property on the
Exactly.
side of the fence?
Exactly, so
Yeah.
the retaining wall is on the line, so there's no room for them to put any kind of plantings.
Yeah.
So the question is, do we want to require them to set back that fence to put plantings and/or lower the fence to,
Can you set back that fence enough time to put any kind of planting at all?
I'm getting it's 28 feet.
Well, you can move it 18 inches maybe and put some kind of,
I
What's
think,
on-
2 feet.
I think at least 2 feet.
Yeah.
You can, okay.
So, I mean, if you guys are okay with that, I mean, it's definitely going to be better for the neighbor, who's the one who's got to look at it. The applicant doesn't even have to look at it.
Yeah, can you go back to that picture?
What's on the other side? Can we see it or not?
That's why I pulled up the survey. It looks like it's go back to the survey. It looks like he has like,
So 2 feet back from the property line, is that what the condition?
looks like he's
So
got like
that's it there.
28.
I think so.
Yeah.
So this is the area.
And it won't be in line with the rest of the property. But I agree, something's got to be done, it's too high.
Yeah, I mean, that's, well, why don't you make a motion and we'll see.
So I'm gonna have to read each one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on case 19424, I'll make a motion. Variance to permit a fence greater than 4 feet in the required front yard for an existing 4 feet PVC vinyl fence on top of a block retaining wall be approved. Reduce the minimum setback of a 5-foot retaining wall from the property line from 5 feet to 0 for an existing block retaining wall be approved. Reduce the minimum setback of a 6-foot fence and a 5-foot retaining wall from 5 feet to 0 be approved
2 feet only.
to 2 feet only. Increase the height of a 6-foot fence on top of a 5-foot retaining wall from 6 feet to 11 feet be denied.
I guess approved with conditions, right?
Okay, approved with conditions. And the condition is that they set back the fence 2 feet back from the property line and install type 2 plantings and maintain.
And then you have paving also.
Right. Okay, increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the front yard from 25% to 40% for an existing at-fall driveway be approved.
How about the water retention?
Oh, and then we could add that
I think
condition.
you just do that in accordance with a condition that states it has to be maintained in accordance with the code requirements, because you said it's in the code, how they have to do it.
So, John would like to add the condition that the stormwater runoff be compliant with the code and maintained on the subject parcel.
Okay.
Then we need a second.
Second?
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 with conditions, partially approved with conditions. Next case is case 19425, Anthony and Teresa DeChara.
On case 19425, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
Second?
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Case number 19426, Nicholas Voltaggio.
On case 19426, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
Second?
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, case 19427, The Gap Inc. You guys want to have some discussion? Actually, we don't have Suffolk County Planning on this one. How do we deal with that, Simone?
You have to wait until the next
So
hearing.
wait until the next hearing?
Mhm.
Okay. So no action. Case 19428, Abigail Simon.
On case 19428, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
Second?
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Case 19429, we need a secra.
On case 19429, I'll make a motion to approve the unlisted neg deck.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 5-0 on the secra. Now on the merits.
Okay, on the merits, I'm gonna read all these. Okay, I'll make a motion, a special exception for a modification of a repair garage, approved with conditions. Variance of a special exception standard for a repair garage to reduce the planted buffer adjacent to the residential district from 50 feet to 10 feet, approved with the conditions. Variance to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 19 feet on White Avenue, approved with conditions. Variance to reduce the minimum parking from 32 to 28 spaces be approved. Now the conditions. The applicant shall maintain the existing evergreen planting along the north side of the property. 2, the applicant shall screen the west side of the proposed 2,400 square foot repair garage with evergreen plantings at the discretion of the Board of Site Plan Review. 3, the property shall not be utilized for sale or rental of motor vehicles, motor homes, boats, or similar articles.
All right. We have a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries with conditions 5-0.
Okay, another one.
All right, case 19430, we're pending secra, so no action. Case 19431, John Vlachik.
19430, that's the Bowman Drive, the 11-foot retaining wall.
What?
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think we had a secret, right?
Were you gonna, that's the one with the tiered,
Yes, you're gonna make
the tiered retaining wall?
Oh, he's coming back, so that one's
Yes.
adjourned.
Yeah,
Got it.
that was the next one, it was?
January 13th.
January 13th. And then 19431, John Vlachik.
Okay, on case 19431, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Case 19432, Triple J and A Holdings, we need a secra.
Okay, on case 19432, I'll make a motion to approve the unlisted neg deck.
Need a second?
Second.
A motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries on the secra 5-0. Now on the merits.
On case 19432, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Case 19433, we need a secret, so no action. Case 19434, Island Air, we are waiting on Suffolk County Planning, so no action.
Oh, okay, no action. I don't have to read it.
All right. Case 19242, ADT Real Estate, waiting on a secra, no action. Case 19407, Bola EM Realty, we have adjourned that to January 13th. Continued, sorry, continued. Case 19414, we need a secra, so no action. Case 19415, need a secra, no action. Okay, case 18970, MLC Holding LLC. I believe Adrian, Bill, and myself were the only three that heard this application. And there is a
Findings of fact.
findings of fact.
So we have read the findings of fact. I can make a motion 189 to adopt the findings and to enter it into the record.
And I believe we have, secret we don't deal with because that was already adopted by the town board?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion to adopt the findings. Do you want to go through the actual decisions?
Let me see where I am.
Here, let's take this one. It has each one.
Okay. Special exception to permit outdoor storage, approved with conditions. Special exception to approve trucking station, approved with conditions. Special exception to permit a repair garage, approved with conditions. Variant of a special exception standard to permit outdoor storage or display of vehicles, parts, dismantled vehicles, tires, and similar accessories to a permitted area of overnight storage and parking of vehicles to be over 3,500 square feet. Variant of special exception standard to permit outdoor storage and exceed the gross floor area by 22 times, 418,300 square feet. Do I have to read 3228? Yeah, approved to 20 times with conditions. Variant of a special standard to reduce the minimum setback of outdoor storage from 100 feet to 0 and to eliminate the density planting buffer, approved with conditions. Variant of a special exception standard to permit the height of an outdoor storage to exceed 6 feet, permit vehicle storage to exceed 14 feet, and for storage and shipping containers to exceed 10 feet, deny. Wait a minute, there's another one. Continue. Variance is a special exception to permit loading and unloading, unloading between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8 a.m., approved with conditions. Variance reduced the minimum landscape area from 18% to 0% of a lot, approved to 8% with conditions. Variance to reduce the minimum front yard landscape area from 80% to 0%, approved to 8% with conditions. Variance to permit light poles over 18 feet in height be denied. Variance to permit wall fence greater than 4 feet in the required front yard to reduce the front yard from 50 feet to 0 for a wall fence on Old Port Road, approved with conditions. Okay. Am I here? No. Variance to permit walls and fence greater than 6 feet be denied. Variance reduce the minimum required parking from 119 to 39 spaces be approved with conditions. Variance to reduce the minimum parking setback from the front property line on Old Northport Road from 50 feet to 0, approved with conditions. Variance to reduce the minimum parking setback to the rear property line from 6 feet to 0, be approved with conditions.
And the conditions?
Okay. Well, here they go. The site shall be developed in general conformation with the revised plan submitted by German and it's Kleiman Architect, PC, received by the Planning Department on July 2nd, 2025. All outdoor storage, fencing, and structures shall be set back at a minimum of 25 feet from the curve line of Old Northport Road. The site shall be limited to a three curb cut on Old Northport Road and 2 on Tile Line Road. Curb cuts and outdoor storage shall be repositioned to maximize visibility for motorists exiting the site. All gates shall be set back a minimum of 40 feet. An application to the Board of Site Plan Review shall be required. On-site drainage shall be installed as directed by the Engineering Department, and all water runoff shall be contained on site. Outdoor storage exceeding 6 feet in height, shipping containers and tractor trailers shall be only be stored in approved outdoor storage areas. 5, adequate on-site restrooms facilities shall be approved for use by all the tenants. 6, building departments shall be obtained for existing and proposed building structures. 7, the junkyard and the unregistered and dismantled vehicles shall be removed from the site. 8, the applicant shall dictate to the town portions of the property that extend beyond the curb line into Old Northport Road.
All right, we have a motion. Need a second?
Second?
Motion and a second. On the merits, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye, so motion carries 3-0. Do you want this? You got it?
Yeah, probably, especially if you didn't get what I read.
Yeah.
Huh?
You can just take it from, if you want to email, is that easier? Okay.
All right, so motion carries 3-0. Now, next case, 19333. I believe we have a type 2 seeker, but there are comments.
Yeah, the comments were that it needs LWRP, which it has since received.
All right.
It's on the
So,
right.
no, on the merits.
And
Oh.
one other thing, I recommend you adopt the LWRP conditions as well.
So do we have that?
Not in front of me, I don't. Is it in the packet?
Oh, hold on, I might have it. That was 19333.
Had to do with screening the shed, removing all debris from the area. You can see in these pictures, that's all there right now, so.
I don't think I was here on this
This
one.
was
I can tell
for
you. I believe I have that.
6/10/25.
Let me find this first.
So if you don't have the pictures in front of you, you can, we have the application number, you can put that.
Okay.
separate it by reference.
I got
so
it.
we can get
So 6/10. You were here.
I only
wrote-
have secret, I don't have LWRP. So John was here?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody was here. That's
Okay, so you
Just
can make a
adopt?
motion with the conditions as reflected in the LWRP determination?
Yep.
Does that make sense? Go ahead, Adrian.
Okay, on case 19333, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented with the condition that all the comments from the LWRP be adopted.
Okay, second?
Who can vote it?
Motion in a second. All, I think all of us. All in favor?
All in favor?
We were all here, right,
Okay.
Matt?
Yes.
Okay, 5-0.
Okay. Case 19355, Kelly Fitzgerald. Let's pull that one
Like, what date is that? The 7/15?
up. 7:15.
So this is the one,
Right.
they're looking to reduce the front yard setback for a fence from 10 to 0 for a 6-foot PVC fence. You wanted an updated survey, so
I don't
one
have
was
that
sent to the board. We'll have it up on the screen. Fence is in the right of way.
The fence is in the right of way.
Yeah.
So,
See there.
oh, that was the one that was on the cul-de-sac? Yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah.
You remember the picture? There's a bunch of mature trees. There it is,
Right.
right there.
Yeah,
And basically, it's put out in the road, in the right-of-way. I remember when we went and looked at it, that's the only fence there. I mean, it kind of does change the character of that area. What do you guys think? Actually, who can vote on it?
Um,
I got my notes.
Janadeo, Tanzi, Savaretti. That's it.
Okay, so what did you guys think?
that's his rear yard, am I correct?
That's the cul-de-sac, so it's the front entrance of that little cul-de-sac. So
it's
everybody,
clipping the
remember the
front.
neighbor
Yeah.
behind came out
Yeah.
concerned because they couldn't even see coming out of the cul-de-sac and they,
at this area right here.
I think we could push it back some, you know, put it behind the trees so that it doesn't
I was
really.
just gonna say, can we take,
Yeah, go back to that picture.
you'd have to take how many panels off to go
I
behind
think
the
at
trees?
least two.
Aren't there
I think you're still gonna
shrubs?
have those bushes there, the evergreen.
There's all those bushes there.
I'm not, personally, I'm not approving it where it is, so.
Yeah, I don't know how you can move it
The
back.
fence was behind
That's
the
not our
evergreen.
problem.
So we just deny it?
If
Just
you
deny
approve
it
it to
then?
0, it would have to be-
Well, I mean, we could give them some relief, but it'd be up to them to figure out how to do it. I'd hate to see them cut the trees down, but obviously that looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Be better if the fence was behind the evergreens
Yeah, yeah.
for the community anyway.
So how do you want me to read this?
Well, what do you guys think in terms of setback?
Yeah, 10 feet to what?
So you can see on the survey, you can see the shrubs in relation to the fence.
Yeah, I mean, it is only 10 feet, so maybe we just deny it. And let it be 10 feet. I mean, right now, the fence is over the property line, so it isn't even a good representation to say, you know, if you move it back 10 feet, because it's actually gonna go back more than 10 feet. I don't think so.
If you go to 0,
Property line, he's gotta rip up all those bushes. Looks like the bushes are on the
Yeah, it's
property
like
line.
Yeah, and
the
that
bushes
really
run-
doesn't, that doesn't give any relief to those people
Yeah.
in the cul-de-sac.
They can either move it back behind the bushes, or they can take the bushes out if you do it to 0.
I'd be okay moving it behind the evergreens.
So
Well, how
maybe
many feet is that? What do you want to prove it to, 10 to?
10 to 6, maybe?
6?
So that would move it back about 10 feet, you think?
What's in the right of way though right now?
right now,
Do I need to go back 10?
well, there's two things. You have the measuring from the property line and the right-of-way. So right now, they're probably, the right-of-way is 10 feet wide, so they're probably about 3 feet into it, 4 feet into it. When I say 10 feet wide, I mean from the property line to the curb.
Yeah,
Well, there's a
So,
3 feet right there. from
You
the
can
fence.
see the interior wall of the hedge, if you want to call it that. It's straddles the property line.
so do you think 4 feet is enough to get it behind there?
Can't we just say,
I'd
put it
say so.
behind there, or we have to put feet?
I think having feet helps, so everybody knows.
So what if we wanted to preserve those trees?
Which I think we should.
We could, as a condition, approve it to 4 feet with the condition that the trees be
Yeah.
Maintained.
preserved and maintained.
And the
Because
evergreens?
then we're giving them the relief so that they can have a little more backyard and also preserving those trees. Does that work?
Okay.
John,
I'm
you
good
okay
with
with that?
that. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, if it goes too much against those trees, they're gonna die.
yeah,
That's the problem.
Mm.
Then you get both dead trees there.
that's the worst. You're on, Adrian.
Okay, case 19355, I'll make a motion to approve this application, variance to reduce the front yard setback from lot line from 10 feet to 4 feet for an existing 6-foot PVC fence, with the condition that the trees and the shrubs are maintained.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah.
Second?
No, John. John's got to second it.
Second.
So motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Three.
carries 3-0. Next up. Case 19385, Daniel Butera. That was from 9/9.
One, 3, 8, 5.
9385. We were just waiting on a secret. I had no problem with it. Who do we have that can vote on that one? Matt?
What's the date? 9/9?
9/9.
I was there, I got the paperwork.
Viliante was not there. The other 4 of you guys can.
Okay,
You guys said, I'm just waiting for the health department.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, on case 19385, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 4-0. All right. Case 19406, Ferrara Family Trust, that was from 10/21, last meeting.
Wait a minute.
This one you wanted us to look into how far the house should be set back if it were to have a basement. We concluded
1021.
150 feet back.
This was the 2 parcels on Sunken Meadow Road. If you recall, as Matt just said, we had requested, because of the environmentally sensitive lands, to find out how far back we should push the house that was to the south.
West? I think it's to the west.
To the west?
Yeah, right?
To the left.
To the left, left of the page.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have,
there.
I have here planning board recommendation. Move
So-
the house back, south back.
Yeah. So,
Did we say what-
planning said that 150 feet would get it out of the environmentally sensitive lands. So do you want to approve it with a condition?
Okay.
So, just real quick, do you want to adopt the conditions that the planning board recommended with the change that the house be setback one, because I think we worded it, the dwelling be repositioned further back from the road to a higher elevation, so we'll just change that to 150 feet.
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. Oh, and who can vote on this one?
I remember being, I was here.
I think it was-
Bill was absent, everyone else.
All right, so
was-
everyone except Bill.
So how am I reading this whole thing?
Do you want to? You could read this if you want. Those were the planning board recommendation. I just switched out the 150. If you want to look at it before you.
So I'll
So
read
it's
this.
approval with the condition, and then those are the conditions.
Okay. On case 19406, I make a motion to approve the application with these conditions. Each lot shall provide a driveway with adequate area for vehicles to turn around in the order to prevent vehicles from reversing onto Sunken Meadow Road. This shall be done to the satisfaction of the planning department. The dwelling on Lot 1 shall not have a basement or cellar unless the dwelling is repositioned 150 feet back from the road to a higher elevation with the building envelope. Number 3, to mitigate the potential of further encroachment or disturbance of the steep slope areas, a 10-foot conservation easement shall be placed along the rear.
I think it's like 100.
100
What,
foot.
is it
Oh,
100?
I'm sorry. 100-foot deep conservation easement shall be placed along the rear property of the subdivision.
We need a second?
Second.
Actually, I don't think you can, Bill. It's-
Second. Oh,
John,
I'm sorry.
John, that's okay.
We put
Uh,
hooky, right.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, you want to hand this back to them? Oh, my gosh.
Okay, case 19419 has Rana, Lance, and Julia. That was also on the 21st, so it's John, Adrian, myself, and John.
What, let me see, 194 and 19.
419. I had that this is a pre-existing non-conforming, and I had no problem with it.
Let's see. Yep, I had no problem with this one either.
Okay, you want to make a motion?
Okay, on case 19419, I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 4-0. All right, we have a few requests for extension. One is the Diverse Equity Solutions. This one goes back a couple of years. It's on Old Dock Road. Do we want to give them like a final extension here?
Would be approved to 11/14/26.
Yeah, I mean, because at this point, we have only 3 of us that were on the board. If it goes much longer, it's gonna be a different board.
Right.
Yeah. We may be fired.
Yeah,
Hello.
so let's make a motion,
What do you
If you want
think?
to do that, you can. I'm not too familiar with this application. But if you feel that's the
I
right
remember it.
decision. Okay.
Adrian, wanna make a motion?
And Case to be reopened?
No, for an extension.
Okay, on case 11884, I'll make a motion to approve the extension.
Mark it as a final extension?
Yeah, final extension.
We need a second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, one extension to 11/14/26, final extension. Case 18261 Kismet Homes. Anyone have a problem with that? This is also a fourth request for an extension, so.
It's fine. On case 18261, I'll make a motion to approve the extension for 6 months.
Actually, they're just asking for the extension to 11/26/25.
Yeah, I think they're pretty close to
Okay,
getting permits. I know that they've been filing those recently. I know we reviewed the permit marker.
all right, well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. That's same for the next one, 18262 Kismet Homes. We need a motion for an extension.
On case 1262, on Kismet Homes, I'll make a motion to approve the extension.
Second?
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And case 19026, Lisa Chupka, requesting a 6-month extension.
Okay, on case 19026, I'll make a motion to approve the extension.
Second?
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved to 5/14/26. Now we have a request to reopen. You want to fill us in a little bit, Matt?
Just kind of a brief part, so just also for the record, just so everyone's aware, in order to reopen and have a new hearing, it has to be an unanimous vote. So if there's one person who's no, it just automatically gets denied. And also, the standard requires new facts or circumstances to come to light that would require a new hearing.
Okay. So,
So yeah, this was a special exception for a trucking station and related variances, based on Garrett Gray's letter. He would like to, I guess he wants to address the variance to increase the maximum height of a fence from 6 feet to 10 feet, reduce the minimum required parking from 56 to 30 spaces, and reduce the minimum width of a drive aisle from 24 to 22 feet. So those are the 3 items that were denied, and he would, I guess, wants to provide you guys with additional information. So.
now, you guys recall this application, this is the one down on Old Northport Road. It was, actually, who was here?
It's, I mean.
Not that it
you're
matters
right.
for the vote, but I just want to know if everyone remembers the case.
The decision was October 1st. There was no meeting on or about October 1st, so you probably did October or
Oh, when did we hear it?
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
I want to say we heard it 2 meetings ago. I'll look in the
I
back.
have down 812.
What was it?
8/12, okay.
Did we
so-
hear it on 8/12?
So 8/12, it was Janadeo, Tanzi, Savaretti, Viliante, and Campisi. No,
Okay, so this was that
Right.
case where it was down on Old Northport Road. It was the industrial parcel. The guys came in, they wanted to maintain all those block, kind of like
like tenant spaces.
sectioned off tenant
Outside
spaces.
storage.
A lot of outside storage.
There's big wood piles.
No
existing.
building.
That
That with
massive
the
wood
trucks
pile.
for two-way traffic for the trucks?
Yeah, yeah. So essentially, I don't think John or John have heard something like this. Whenever we have an application come in and we make a decision and the applicant wants to come back, we have to vote to reopen it. And as Simone had said, it has to be not only unanimous to reopen, but we also have to make a unanimous decision to change our initial decision. So normally, there would be, say, an offer of proof, what the reasoning is that they're requesting you to reopen, not necessarily just they don't like the decision. There would be, because new information came to light or something changed. So that being said, you know, A, would you want to reopen it? And B, do you feel that reopening it would cause you to change your initial decision? Or could there be information that they would bring to ask, could you just list out what the things that they wanted us to reconsider?
Increase the maximum height of a fence from 6 feet to 10 feet, reducing the minimum required parking from 56 to 30 spaces, reducing the minimum width of a drive aisle from 24 feet to 22 feet.
So could there be something that you guys feel they could bring to us that would say, oh, I didn't know that, I would change my mind about those things, if you recall what we discussed? So I guess the best way to do it is, because it requires a unanimous decision. And obviously, if you're not inclined to, then say that.
They're not telling us
What they,
what they're looking for at this point.
That's kind of the issue too. You're supposed to have new facts that then would
It
get
should-
you somewhere to think you would.
Right.
how
There's
can
a
we
reason,
make,
yeah.
how can you make an intelligent decision without knowing some of the things that they want to bring to the table? They're just not happy. It sounds like they're just not happy with what we have.
We get that
based on that.
sometimes.
Okay.
And then if we deny it unanimously,
Doesn't,
or
it just takes
doesn't even
one,
have to
just
be
takes
unanimous.
one.
Just takes one person to
then at
unite.
that point, the next thing is they could, I guess, they could
Well, one of two things.
file an
They could-
Article
they could-
78.
They can
Okay.
file
They could file an
reopening.
Article 78, or they could try and give us an offer of proof.
Yes.
Um,
And then the Article 78 would be based on this decision, not based on the original decision.
Right.
Because it would be based on you denying them the ability
Right.
to come
Right.
forward.
Right.
So they would have 30 days.
But you could deny it until they give us some type of proof of
Sure.
why they want to come forward,
Correct.
You could come back
Yeah.
with something.
Yeah,
which that would make sense to me.
Okay. So do we want to go down the line and see if anyone wants to open? We'll just, one at a time. John?
I would consider it if there was considerable proof of why they want to come forward.
Okay. So that, at this point, that's a no.
That's a
Yeah,
no.
no.
So John gets credit for this.
Yeah, you'll be on the hot seat
That's a
instead of everything. Oh, my God.
if you want, I can start it.
We'll start with John next time.
Oh,
How would they provide you with things to consider without having a hearing? You know
In
what
the
I mean?
past, there's generally been an offer of proof.
Yeah,
that
okay.
said
Usually, right,
this-
these are the reasons why we
Okay.
are entitled to.
That were
rehear.
not presented at the initial hearing.
Yes, exactly. So like sometimes someone will change a design.
Right.
Because of circumstances when they get in the field and realize they can't do what they originally planned to do. And
Right.
now we need to come back and ask you to deal with it based on that, based on
Right.
new plans, something like that. Change the circumstances, maybe the
And
property
you
owner.
can review those plans before you reopen it?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, because then the public gets their opportunity to weigh in. So, all right, I believe, is that it for tonight?
That's only, don't we have to go down the line?
No,
Well, you
only takes
should-
one.
I mean,
Oh,
you should
okay.
make the motion to deny it. I mean, you
Well,
should make the motion and
there,
then you.
there is no motion because their request was to reopen was denied because one person said. I mean, that's the way we used to do it.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so you're gonna note it based on that. I would do the vote just so they know, but it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Well, because then they're not gonna have anything final if they did.
However
file
you
an
tell us to
article
do it, that's how we're doing it.
or-
I mean, you can't put a condition on it. I mean, it's no because they just put forward the same exact thing that we voted
Yeah,
no
no,
on.
absolutely.
Right?
I would
So
just-
that's why.
Well, we
the
could
motion
vote
to
on it.
say
We could
no,
all vote
yeah.
yes, and then it'd be John.
That's
voting.
fine.
Look over your shoulders.
All right, so we need a motion to, well, John, make the motion then.
yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion to deny the rehearing.
Okay? We need a second.
Second.
All in favor to deny, I think? Does that help?
Yep.
I would rather see more, information to reopen
Yeah,
as
I
well,
know.
so I'm a no.
I'm a no.
I'm a no.
All right, it's unanimous.
Yep.
And that's it for tonight. Everyone